Patient, we wait to attack. I feel like I lost it, I see through the gas. Obnoxious, I'm knocking, yeah, I'm taking your bag. I feel like I'm caustic, looting your buddy, your homie still choking on gas. I'm laughing, beating the enemy, hoping they pick up your slack. Yeah, winning now feels like a thing of the past. Your bros are gonna throw up the glass. We take what we want, we leave in the trash. Racking up facts as we move through the map. We're waiting for people to follow my trap. Go to swamps, don't take what we want. Tip it down, living some 50 gang. What we owing, man, through the door, flat line, like you up. Always getting what we want, but it never is enough.
My methods are only controversial to those who lack imagination.
I feel like I'm caustic, I'm breathing on gas. They're on the smoke, patient, we wait to attack. I feel like I lost it, I see through the gas. Obnoxious, I'm knocking, yeah, I'm taking your bag. I feel like I'm caustic, I'm breathing on gas. They're on the smoke, patient, we wait to attack. I feel like I lost it, I see through the gas. Obnoxious, I'm knocking, yeah, I'm taking your bag. I'm throwing out cans, I'm betting you won't. Peacekeeper making you dance, you know I'm the GOAT. Champion squad, every time we go, this legend control. I'm climbing to the top, no matter the toll. I climb to the top, no matter the toll. I'm throwing out cans, I'm betting you won't. Peacekeeper making you dance, you know I'm the GOAT. Champion squad, every time that we go, this legend control. I climb to the top, no matter the toll.
Yeah, hey, I climb to the top.
I climb to the top, no matter the toll. Take a look at the scoreboard. I thought that you would do more. I'm giving this my everything. I'm the best that you have ever seen. I'm starting. I'm going in. Where is my day? Nobody slays like I slay. Come on, girl. Nobody slays like I slay. This is my world. Nobody slays like I slay. Come on, girl. Nobody slays like I slay. This is my world. Nobody slays like I slay. Come on, girl. Nobody slays like I slay. This is my world. I'm starting. I'm going in. Where is my day? I'm going there. I'm starting. Ooh, let the 301 hum, bounce the bullets off your chest till the armor falling off. Oh god, all those gas making you cough, feeling caustic when I drop, leave your body in a pile, let it rot. Shield cells got a lot, watch you move, you a bot, watch you fade like a thought. Skull town where I bang, watch your life, watch your drain, never getting off the train, never drop another game, yeah. 301 in my hands, different drop, same plan. To my squad, I'm the man, I'ma win this, no I can't. Sending shots, no spam, accurate, watch them slam, watch them run while they can, make them slump. Give me the loot, take what I want, all of my rounds, I light like the sun, yeah I am the one, lighting you up. R301, you're all that I need, you're all that I want. We at the top, act like we scum, taking your life and leaving the crumbs. Do what we want, we get the dub, living that life, yeah R301. I got the sides, H-Cog, barrel stabilized, no rock. Standing mag, more shots, standing stock, ready pop. I got the sides, H-Cog, barrel stabilized, no rock. Standing mag, more shots, standing stock, ready pop. Ooh, let the 301 hum, bounce the bullets off your chest till the armor falling off. Oh god, all those gas making you cough, feeling caustic when I drop, leave your body in a pile, let it rot. Shield cells got a lot, watch you move, you a bot, watch you fade like a thought. Skull town where I bang, watch your life, watch your drain, never getting off the train, never drop another game, yeah. Ooh, let the 301 hum, bounce the bullets off your chest till the armor falling off. Oh god, all those gas making you cough, feeling caustic when I drop, leave your body in a pile, let it rot. Shield cells got a lot, watch you move, you a bot, watch you fade like a thought. Skull town where I bang, watch your life, watch your train, never getting off the train, never drop another game, yeah. Let the 301 hum, bounce the bullets off your chest till the armor falling off. Oh god, all those gas making you cough, feeling caustic when I drop, leave your body in a pile, let it rot. Shield cells got a lot, watch you move, you a bot, watch you fade like a thought. Skull town where I bang, watch your life, watch your drain, never getting off the train, never drop another game, yeah. Ooh, let the 301 hum, bounce the bullets off your chest till the armor falling off. Oh god, all those gas making you cough, feeling caustic when I drop, leave your body in a pile, let it rot. Shield cells got a lot, watch you move, you a bot, watch you fade like a thought. Skull town where I bang, watch your life, watch your drain, never getting off the train, never drop another game, yeah. I got the sides, H-Cog, barrel stabilized, no rock. Standing mag, more shots, standing stock, ready pop. I got the sides, H-Cog, barrel stabilized, no rock. Standing mag, more shots, standing stock, ready pop. I got the sides, H-Cog, barrel stabilized, no rock. Standing mag, more shots, standing stock, ready pop. I got the sides, H-Cog, barrel stabilized, no rock. Standing mag, more shots, standing stock, ready pop.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Wednesday and welcome back to Series E Apex Legends Season 4. My name is Yeso. I'll be your host today as we kick off Pro Night for Week 3 of this season. We're coming in off the heels of a third open night victory in a row for Team Vizio, who continues to crush the competition on Tuesdays, but can they bring that into Wednesday nights? We'll find that out a little bit later. Now, if you're new to the show, you maybe don't know how things work, I can break it down for you, okay? Series E is a professional esports open circuit across multiple titles: Apex Legends, Guilty Gear Strive, and the soon-to-come Halo Infinite. Now, the way that things work is players come and compete in our open qualifiers, and the top squads in those open qualifiers get into Series E. Now, what that means for them is they get drafted by one of our partnered brands. They sign a contract, they make a monthly salary, and get to compete weekly for points and prize money. Apex Legends competes every Tuesday against other open squads, just like they used to be themselves, and then every single Wednesday against some of the best pros from all across North America. If you and your friends want to get in on the fun, make sure to head over to matcherino.com/ESA for more info and the opportunity to sign up. We would love to see you come out and compete. Now, tonight, of course, Pro Night, our squads will be competing against some of the best pros from all across North America. We'll have 6 games slotted for us here tonight, and it's going to be a blast. But before we get into all of that, we'd love to play a little game show here to start off the fun, and it's called Deal or Steal. I've got a very special guest joining me today, but let's explain the rules before we get into the action. Now, the way Deal or Steal works is I've got 20 Apex crates with a range of awesome prizes inside of all of them. To start the show, my contestant will set aside one of those to hold on to. We will then go through multiple rounds, opening crates, seeing what's inside, and crossing prizes off of the board. At the end of each round, I will have a deal for that contestant. They can either take the deal or elect to steal and keep playing the game. If we get all the way to the end and they've taken none of my deals, we will open up the crate they set aside at the start and win the prize inside. So that's how things break down. Remember, if you want to play yourselves, just subscribe to us here at twitch.tv/esports arena. You can have a chance to come and play Deal or Steal with me. But let's welcome in our guest today. He is one of the best players to ever come through Series E. He is currently competing for Team Vizio this season and coming off of a win last night, as I already mentioned. Phony Head is joining me on the show today. Phony, it's good to see you again, my man. It's been a little while, but welcome to the show.
It's good to see you too.
All right. Hey, Happy New Year. How were your holidays?
As you see, I have contracted COVID
All
because
right.
of these holidays. Yeah, it's not very good for me, but
Yeah.
the holidays were fun. Good time to spend with my family. Good time to spend with my wife's family. But as for now, I'm just quarantining and isolating, playing Apex.
Well, I hope you're feeling well, my man. We wish you the best and a speedy recovery, but thankful that, you're still competing today, and we're happy to have you here. But let's pull the game up on the board. Maybe we could send you a little something nice to help you get through the isolation right now. So we're going to slap the game up on the board. I got 20 crates for you, my man. A bunch of awesome prizes, but you got to set one aside here at the start. So what's that lucky number that we're going to set aside here?
I set 13.
Number 13, okay. We had Cruisin' and Kimchi play yesterday, and they set aside number 13 as well. So we'll see if it brings you some good luck here today. First round, we've got to open up 9 crates. So let's start it off one by one.
Number 4.
Number 4, all right. We're going to start up at the top right-hand corner. In the side of number 4 is going to be the Nerf Fortnite BAR motorized dart blaster. That's a good start. One of the white tier prizes off of the table to begin. Okay, where are we going next?
Number 6.
Number 6. Keeping it in the single digits for now. Phony hoping to find another one of those white tier prizes. It's going to be a blue tier, but just 2,150 Apex coins inside of that crate. Great start, Phony. Keep sniffing out those white tier prizes. Where they at?
Number 11.
Number 11, he says. Jumping into the double digits here with crate number 3. Let's see what we've got inside. It's going to be one of the two $50 Walmart gift cards inside of there.
Next one is number 1.
Number 1. Keeping it up to the top side of the board here. Number 1 is going to have a splash water pack inside. We are rolling right now, Phony. Good pulls to start off. 4 down, 5 to go.
Got the luck on my side. Number 3.
Number 3, okay. Inside of crate number 3 is going to be the other 2,150 Apex coins prize. Do you have all of the heirlooms? Have you completed your collection yet, Phony?
I only have 1.
Not even close. Okay. Hey, so maybe if we send you home with some Apex coins today, that'll help you out.
Maybe I'll get it.
Okay.
All right. Number 20.
Number 20, okay. We're jumping all the way down to the bottom row here. Crate number 20 inside is going to be the Razer Black Widow V3 wireless keyboard. That one's going to sting a little bit.
All good, all good. Number 16.
Number 16. Moving up just one row here. See if we can get back to the white tier prizes, and we have. Phony has found the Red Bull pack inside of number 16 there. So now that's 7 off of the board so far. 2 more to go this round.
Number 8.
Number 8. We're keeping it in that far right-hand column. Last 2 have treated him well, and this one will too. The other splash water pack hiding inside of number 8. And now the last crate of round 1. Can you finish on a high note here, Phony?
All right. Number 10.
Number 10. Back down to that 3rd row. Can we finish strong in round 1? We will. The Nerf Ultra 2 motorized
that
blaster.
gun.
You already got one?
that
You already
gun.
got that blaster? There we go. All right. See, so it's perfectly worked out that you rip that one now. You don't need it. So what I'm going to offer you here the first round, you did a really good job. Look, a lot of grayed out space up in those top rows. Some good prizes still available. That beautiful Vizio TV still up there, obviously representing your team. So you said you don't have all the heirlooms. I want to help you out here. 2,150 Apex coins. I can't give you a great deal the first time around, but still, I want to help you get those heirlooms. Are you thinking deal, or do you want to keep playing and chase one of those top ticket prizes?
Let's keep playing. Steal, steal.
Okay, Phony says steal, feeling confident after a good showing in round number 1. So Phony is going to keep playing. Okay, round 2, 6 crates we got to open up this time around. So where are we going first?
Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7, he says. Okay. Kind of isolated by itself up there in row number 2. What's going to be inside? Ooh, the Razer Wireless Black Shark V2 Pros. You didn't need a new headset, did you?
Nah, I got one. I got one.
Okay. Phony's all good. No worries. Not a big deal.
Number 18.
Number 18. Okay. Let's see what we have inside of crate number 18. A Series E jersey of your choice. And I would say Phony is a now 3-season veteran of Series E. I think you got all the jerseys that you need.
I got him.
So my man is all set.
Number 14.
Number 14. Inside of 14 is going to be the Series E hat, one of the 2 available on the board, and that's another white tier prize off the table. Phony, a couple of stumbles with the Razer peripherals, but otherwise you're doing really good right now, my man.
Number 9.
Number 9, all right. What is inside of crate number 9? It's the Vizio 55-inch 4K UHD Smart TV. That one's going to hurt.
Not my brand.
That's all right. You'll
5.
still rep them well today. You said number 5? Okay. Number 5, we're going to close out that 2nd row. And it's going to be the other Series E hat. So, again, another stumble, but right back to work. Getting, I think, the final. There's only one more white tier prize off the table. So you've just been blasting the top half of the board.
Yeah.
All right, last one of round
number
2.
15.
Number 15. Okay. Let's see what we have inside crate number 15. It's the other $50 Walmart gift card inside of crate number 15. And that brings us to the end of round 2. So, first time around, I couldn't give you that good of a deal. We still had to play a little bit more for it to get better. And I would say, while you did eliminate a couple of good prizes, a lot of dark space on the top half of that board. And that's telling me I want to help you out a little bit more here, Phony. I got 6,700 Apex coins for you this time around. That's quite a chunk of change. It's going to get you a lot of packs to open up and try and find those heirlooms that you're looking for. So what are you thinking? Do you want to keep playing? There's still, a couple of Esports Arena mystery boxes up there. What are we thinking?
I'm down to keep playing. I don't care. Steal, steal, steal.
Okay, Phony wants to keep playing. He says steal. So we go into the last round here. Number 2, number 12, 17, and 19. 4 crates. We're opening up 3 of them before my final deal for you, Phony. What do you think?
All right. Number 2.
Number 2, the last remaining single-digit crate up on the board. Get it away right at the start of the round, and there it is, the 6,700 Apex coins. You could have taken them home, but they are off the table now.
All right. Number 12.
Okay. Number 12. I would say if you're phonier, hoping there's a Series E jersey in here, maybe. Ooh, it's an Esports Arena mystery box. There's still one left on the table. 17 or 19. Which crate are we opening?
Number 19.
Number 19, he says. Just 3 prizes left. It's either the jacket, the jersey, or the Esports Arena mystery box, and it's the Series E jersey of your choice. And now, you put me in an interesting spot here, Phony. 13, the crate you set aside at the start, and 17, one of them has an Intel jacket in it. The other, an Esports Arena mystery box. This time around, I'm going to offer you a $50 Walmart gift card. Do you want the Walmart gift card, or do you want to risk it and see if there's an Esports Arena mystery box hiding inside of number 13? If you don't take the deal, we open up 13 and you get what's inside. So what are you thinking?
You know what? I'm confident in my box.
Yeah?
I'll take the 13.
Okay. Phony wants to go wire to wire here. Pick 13 at the start of the game, is feeling confident that it's a big ticket winner. Phony says steal. Let's see what's inside crate number 13. Phony looking for a blessing inside of lucky number 13, and it's going to be an Intel jacket. You know what? It's going to keep you nice and cozy while you're, isolating, taking your time, relaxing at home. So we will send a nice, brand new Intel jacket your way. Phony, thanks for coming on, my man. I wish you the best. I hope your recovery is quick. And you stay healthy, my man. Thank you so much for coming to hang out, and best of luck to you in the squad tonight. I got to ask, you guys have been crushing open nights so far. You're 3-0. You're exceeding 80 points every single night. What's the key of transferring that success from Tuesday nights now into Wednesdays?
Wednesdays play a little bit different compared to Tuesdays. Tuesdays you see a lot of more end game openings. As for Wednesdays, you see a lot of these pro teams, more experienced teams, that they don't leave room for those openings as easily as they do in the Tuesday nights. So what we need to focus on is more of our 3v3 fights in order to get pressure on to getting that spot instead of getting the free spot like we usually do on Tuesdays.
Also, I have to know, is it as free of a win as it looks like when you're able to get the Kraber in Fury's hands? Because it just seems like if you guys find it, you can give it to him. It's just like GG, like you're gonna win the game.
It is. It is. That's why on Wednesday nights, people don't really care as much anymore about Fury's Kraber because there's a lot more Loba teams.
Sure.
So yeah, you see a lot more diversity in who gets the Kraber, not just Fury all the time this time.
All right. Well, hey, we'll see how it works out tonight. Best of luck to you and the squad. Thanks so much for coming to hang out, my man. And again, wishing you a speedy recovery.
All right. Thank you, boss man. You have a good one.
Thank you, thank you. That was Phony of Team Vizio joining us to play some Deal or Steal there. Do want to remind you guys, once again, if you want a shot to come and play Deal or Steal with me, you can win that chance if you are subscribed to us here at twitch.tv/esports arena. Again, try to see if Team Vizio can translate that success. You heard Phony talking about it there, dealing with just changes in drops, the play style shifting from Tuesday to Wednesday, as well as dealing with some other Loba teams. That Kraber, not quite as accessible there for Fury coming into Wednesday night. We'll see if they can do it as well. Production going to let me know if we're ready to go to the casters, but at the very least, I'm ready for these games. I'm excited. We got 6 games ahead of us tonight, and I'm certainly looking forward to it. We had a lot of great action last night, a good mix of winners as well. TBA, a squad with some familiar names, obviously Stomps on their former Season 2 Pop-Tarts player ready to go and looking to hear from them. Do want to remind you guys, by the way, of course, we here at Esports Arena love doing Series E and all of this online stuff, but we have to remind you guys, we are open all across the country. We have 18 locations located inside of Walmart stores all across the United States, and you guys are welcome to come in and join us, and we would love to see you and come out and play and compete with you. So if you want more information, want to see where a local Esports Arena is near you, use !locations in Twitch chat right now. We'll get you the link that you need. And you can see them right up here to my left, all of our locations all across these United States. So if you want to come out and play, make sure to check that out. Now, right now, we're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, folks, we will be kicking off Week 3 Pro Night of Series E. We'll see you in a few.
feel like I'm caustic, I'm breathing on gas. They're on the smoke, patient we wait to attack. I feel like I lost it, I see through the gas. Obnoxious, I'm knocking, yeah, I'm taking your bag. I feel like I'm caustic, looting your buddy, your homie still choking on gas. I'm laughing, bigging the enemy, hoping they pick up your slack. Yeah, winning now feels like a thing of the past. Your bros are gonna throw up the glass. We take what we want, we leave in the trash. Racking up facts as we move through the map. We're waiting for people to follow my track. Go to swamps, don't we take what we want? Tip it down, living some 50 gang. What we owe and man through the door, flat line, like you up. Always getting what we want, but it never is enough.
My methods are only controversial to those who lack imagination.
I feel like I'm caustic, I'm breathing on gas. They're on the smoke, patient we wait to attack. I feel like I lost it, I see through the gas. Obnoxious, I'm knocking, yeah, I'm taking your bag. I feel like I'm caustic, I'm breathing on gas. They're on the smoke, patient we wait to attack. I feel like I lost it, I see through the gas. Obnoxious, I'm knocking, yeah, I'm taking your bag. I'm throwing out cans, I'm betting you won't. Peacekeeper making you dance, you know I'm the GOAT. Champion squad, every time we go, this legend control. I climb to the top, no matter the toll. I climb to the top, no matter the toll. I'm throwing out cans, I'm betting you won't. Peacekeeper making you dance, you know I'm the GOAT. Champion squad, every time that we go, this legend control. I climb to the top, no matter the toll.
Yeah, hey, I climb to the top.
I climb to the top, no matter the toll. Take a look at the scoreboard. I thought that you would do more. I'm giving this my everything. I'm the best that you have ever seen. I'm starting. I'm going in. Where is my team? Nobody slays like I slay. Come on, girl. Nobody slays like I slay. This is my world. Nobody slays like I slay. Come on, girl. Nobody slays like I slay. This is my world. Nobody slays like I slay. Come on, girl. Nobody slays like I slay. This is my world. I'm starting. I'm going in. Ooh, let the 301 hum, bounce the bullets off your chest till the armor falling off. Oh god, all those gas making you cough, feeling caustic when I drop. Leave your body in a pile, let it rot. Shield cells got a lot, watch you move, you a bot. Watch you fade like a thought. Skull town where I bang. Watch your life, watch your drain. Never getting off the train, never drop another game, yeah. 301 in my hands, different drop, same plan. To my squad, I'm the man, I'm a witness, no I can't. Sending shots, no spam, accurate, watch them slam, watch them run while they can. Make them slump, give me the loot, take what I want. All of my rounds, light like the sun, yeah I am the one, lighting you up. R301, you're all that I need, you're all that I want. We at the top, act like we scum, taking your life and leaving the crumbs. Do what we want, we get the dub, living that life, yeah, R301. I got the size, H-Cog, barrel stabilized, no rock. Standing mag, more shots, standard stock, ready pop. I got the sides, H-Cog, barrel stabilized, no rock. Standing mag, more shots, standard stock, ready pop. Ooh, let the 301 hum, bounce the bullets off your chest till the armor falling off. Oh god, all those gas making you cough, feeling caustic when I drop. Leave your body in a pile, let it rot. Shield cells got a lot, watch you move, you a bot. Watch you fade like a thought. Skull town where I bang. Watch your life, watch your drain. Never getting off the train, never drop another game, yeah. Ooh, let the 301 hum, bounce the bullets off your chest till the armor falling off. Oh god, all those gas making you cough, feeling caustic when I drop. Leave your body in a pile, let it rot. Shield cells got a lot, watch you move, you a bot. Watch you fade like a thought. Skull town where I bang. Watch your life, watch your train. Never getting off the train, never drop another game, yeah.
Series E.
Series E.
Series E.
Series E. Series E.
Apex Legends.
Apex Legends.
Series E Apex Legends starts right now.
And now we're seeing it once again, just like Game 2, slow down, but Fury won.
Time and time again, and she's it. They think they're winning it. Chances are they're winning it.
I think it's thirsted by Zera Tricky as Hakula's going to come around the corner with the spray, and now it's just one player alive over here, and this was...
All right, welcome everybody to the first pro night of Series E in 2022. I'm Jamerson, and pulling double duty this week, we got Zephyr back on the mic. How you doing today, Zephyr?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. Happy to be joining you again. No longer my debut, but maybe the first time for Pro League at least.
Yeah, it's going to be a super exciting night. I'm really glad to just be back into things here for Series E, because it is the first week of the new year, and it looks like, you know, we're turning a corner in some ways when it comes to the Pro League, and especially here in Series E, we've seen so much growth coming out from our teams, and their growth is definitely going to be tested today because it is Pro Night. So our Series E squads are going to be facing off against the best North American teams here in Apex Legends. Let's go ahead and break down the action for you. We've got 6 matches that'll be taking place tonight, and of course, we're going to be on World's Edge. We have $500 on the line as well. $150 going to second place, but $350 going to that first place squad. And then, of course, it's about who scores highest after those 6 matches. And placement points, everything, kill points, all matter here. It's going to be the ALGS standard, so nothing different. But because you got to cast the open night last night, what did you like seeing coming out from our teams that competed last night?
Well, I got to learn a whole lot about some of the teams you see exclusively here at Esports Arena, especially some high-tempo winners like Vizio, Intel, and Excedrin performing really well last night, and we'll see how they're going to be matching up here in the Pro League. Aside from that, some great performances out of squads like TBA and SAF, respectively.
Yeah, but of course, like we saw in, or basically heard, from our game show earlier today, it becomes a different night when it comes to the Pro Night. Teams play a little bit differently. You have to give them a little bit more respect. You don't have as much space here. And let's talk about the teams that will be competing up against our Series E squads tonight. Like we said, it's going to be the best North American pro teams coming out swinging today. We've got Pro League finals coming up just around the corner. This is going to be some of the best practice they can get. And here are the squads competing tonight. And it is an absolutely stacked deck. We got teams like G2, Cloud9, CLG. Everyone is here to compete.
Yeah. Everyone that we've gotten to see here across the course of the Pro League season. And more importantly, not just those playoffs, the practice there, but for some of these teams, we've got the qualifiers this weekend as well. So this gives them a taste of what they might have to match up to in terms of the level of experience that they'll be seeing here.
That's correct. I mean, we do have the relegations and the qualifiers. So some squads, of course, just fighting for their life in the Pro League to make split number 2 right now. But like you said, last night, you were excited to see teams like TBA and SAF start a fight. Matt Pickett, Crummy, and Aves, they're no strangers to Series E whatsoever. I would love to see them back, maybe coming around for Series 5 of Series E. That would be awesome to see. But right now, it's all about getting that last-minute practice in for a lot of our squads. And, let's go ahead and start talking about some of the meta because, like we were able to do earlier today, talking with Vizio, they were talking about how, some more teams are picking up Loba and things like that, but other teams are still sticking with the Valkyrie so far. And there's been a lot of, I think, shakeups in terms of the meta when it comes to Apex Legends now.
Right. You've been seeing the Loba kind of replace the little bit of mobility that we get out of Legends like the Wraith. So that usually takes the switch for your main fragger for some of these squads, as well as that crypto starting to leak in as well. We had the lovely opportunity of seeing 3 or 4 squads pick that one up. And that's a completely different source of information that displays itself here when you're on World's Edge.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to the late game, when we do see those cryptos, they can be incredibly strong as long as they make it to the late game. Once that EMP comes into play, when everyone's throwing their ultimate combos, if you're able to deplete someone's dome or protection with that EMP, it becomes incredibly strong. It throws off their entire team fight. And so we'll see if we get to see some cryptos tonight, but I feel like we're going to see a lot of standard teams not really trying to risk anything, play anything different while they're trying to prepare for the championships along with the relegations here. So I think we're still going to see a fair amount of Valkyries. Of course, the Gibraltar, what is it, 99.99, repeating or something, pick rate coming up from Gibraltar here because we know how strong his overall utility is in every single stage of the game. Now, are there any teams here that you're looking forward to be able to cast tonight?
Well, personally, if we're talking about pro teams exclusively, we've seen a lot of really great performance, especially if we look back towards last week. Xset, they had a wonderful performance, even though they weren't able to pick up a single win here. So I'm curious what they've taken from the last set of games and what they can potentially push forward here because they need a few wins under their belt exclusively.
And here we go, heading into the first game of our first pro night of 2022. And it looks like we got some fairly standard drops coming out. We do have, of course, Liquid dropping over at Skyhook, Xset taking that very center spot over at Harvester. We're joining on board with Team Esports Arena. We got Duplex and Skittlecase with Rolders joining in as a third for this one. It looks like they will have it for free, but they're not having the entirety of the southeast side of the map free like teams are used to see.
Yeah, there's a lot of contest there that's already taking place. We see by that fragment overlook area as well. And now with this zone giving its location away here, you're going to see some heavy rotations favored up there due to the fact that we're going to be seeing this one finish up the epicenter climatizer region here.
Team Splash finding themselves getting contested over here by by staging now, as it looks like they've done some decent damage here, but it's going to be Team Excedrin on the other side of this one, as they're already sitting pretty. They've got a gold armor on cruising. Kimchi Lee is the only one without an upgraded armor set here. Now this is going to be a bit difficult because this fight is taking so long right now, and Kimchi Lee is trying to back off, but he's taking so much damage. Cruising has to hold the line, somehow misses that first shot, but he does at least connect with one. He's going to be forced to queue back here. Now Team Excedrin are in a really tough spot because that Harvester team can rotate in on this third party at any moment.
Right. This is something that we've seen out of Excedrin here, not just tonight, but extending from last night as well. But as we turn over to Splash, they're not looking too better either. They're going to have to take a second, heal back up, find the shielding. They can't quite aggress on this to the level that you would likely assume here. And I'll attribute that to partially some of what the comp has brought here. You don't have the dome to play with, so you no longer have the safety to run that one forward, as well as the fact that you lack a little bit of the mobility kind of necessary to go for the full collapse. As a result here, it looks like Excedrin, they're not giving this one up.
Yeah, they know that they have almost comparable armor here. You got that gold armor, but enemy hasn't been able to heal quite yet, and they're feeling a bit more comfortable pushing up with those scans. Unfortunately, though, they're fighting into a caustic, and they're still feeling that pressure. With 1 minute and 18 seconds left, they know that their Harvester team should be rotating soon. They could be up upon them any moment now, and so they're just going to go ahead and chug forward here. They forced out the bubble early on, coming out from Splash. You can see Cruisin is trying to hold that angle, but looks like for now, nothing really going to amount to this. It's just going to be a lot of utility and economy actually spent into this one. So Team Intel now coming out from their rotate. They're actually rotating down to the south because they have got another squad ahead of them here. Bubble's already been forced out. You see Petty Boss trying to cut them off with that Arc Star narrowly missing. He's only got the Sentinel there to try and use. Cody, though, coming in from the right-hand flank, catch the first person out, hits for Flash, and as he falls back on that Eva, he's got that knock on to Sung. And so now TBA missing out on one, and this is going to be an early kill point for Team Intel.
And I love this from Intel, becoming the kind of gatekeepers here into this first zone, because most squads we talked about were congested here on this eastern side, being forced to rotate up and through Geyser through this cave system that you currently see TBA at right now. The fact that Intel taking advantage, picking up the KP where they can, and also putting a squad like TBA at a deficit, I don't think they'll be able to find their way back into this one, recover that Bandit, and see what they can do. Now, talking about some squads that are further south who we might be getting a little bit of some action out of. Lazarus coming up here to Geyser.
Yeah, I believe they were coming from Dome's side, so they've made quite the trek already halfway across the map and met some resistance as they were trying to hit that balloon, but they are going to be able to get out of here. It looks like hitting those bats. They still need to heal up health, though, and now this is the treacherous portion here. Are their teams still lurking around, maybe inside Fragment? Is that something that they're going to have to deal with, or will they maybe just make a pit stop there? Because there is so much extra loot that teams tend to leave over in the Fragment side. But on the northern side, Complexity, no strangers to the circle whatsoever, dropping over at Survey Camp. They have found themselves a very strong position playing inside basically this storage field here as they've set up completely on the northern side of the map.
Right. I'd like to see how this circle closes in past our round 2 here, but being on the northern end of this zone specifically can be really, really strong, especially if it continues to pull up there, or more appropriately towards the ridge that is just south of Climatizer there, that provides a lot of verticality that teams can abuse to finish out the game strong here. So Complexity already in a great position to push that one forward need be. And if the zone pulls up even further north, they're only one fight away from finding a little bit of access onto maybe Climatizer or something of the like. For now, though, we're back towards Geyser. The action has not stopped. It may not be Lazarus, but Nerth blasting this one out.
Yeah, Team Esports Arena caught them crafting and maybe lacking here, but the defensive bombardment is going to force them back. Skittlecake still maintaining position here on the height, and if he wants to, looks like he's getting ready to try and infiltrate with that Arc Star, but they're just trying to force them back into a corner. You can see the control being held by this squad. It looks like it's going to be a full Caustic squad in there. Duplex just going to go ahead and use those nades to grief the doors to have a better angle there. This Team Esports Arena slowly trying to choke out this squad underneath them for now. And it looks like they are ready to finally make their entrance in. Skittlecake's getting some decent damage off, but it's going to change up that angle once more as they're just getting the runaround from this squad. Duplex gets cracked, and now here comes the push out, but it looks like they'll be able to get one knock at the very least. That's going to be Force going down. Rolders will fall, though, as Team Nerf are fighting back.
Ooh, Nerf making this one look easy. Only one member left standing here in response from Esports Arena, but can't quite hit it on the back end of his teammate shield. Even still, Messiah puts faith in all of our hearts and secures that one. Now, with the gold shield, should be able to find that revive quite quickly.
Yeah, that was just a great turn coming out from Nerf. They realized they were able to find one isolated player outside. All three peek out from that bubble and then take him out. Even though they got the trades, they're able to play around that, playing the 2v1s. SAF teams start a fight. Do find themselves over here at Climatizer. They should be safe for now, as you can see a lot of teams now starting to find their positioning here, expecting this ring to continue to pull up to the northern side. I gotta say, Certified is probably in a really good spot. They've got a lot of mobility with this composition. Crummy being on that Ash will afford them that phase breach a little bit later, and I think, you know, it's very valuable when it comes to these Climatizer circles because you have to deal with that damaging terrain below and such. And so I like this composition coming out from them, although we are seeing a lot of Lobas here.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes great use, especially coming into that late game. You obviously get the additional source of loot out of that black market early on, but when you're forced to hold up in spots like these where you don't really have many access points for rotation, you can continue to stay alive with a healthy amount of resources to keep these fights coming here. Sadly, Starfight, they're not one to run the Loba on their squad, but I'm willing to bet you there are plenty of others that are.
Yeah, we've seen at least 2 squads running that Loba so far. Intel with the Valkyrie, she's really slotting in as that position 3 spot, that flex spot for squads right now. It's CLG, though, that's running, I would say, basically the classic comp of the big boys along with that Valkyrie, making sure you get to that late game and have that big wombo combo of ultimates with the Nox Gas Grenade and that defensive bombardment. A lot of squads actually paying attention to this team that's stuck down below. You see CLG and Start a Fight were both trying to pick at them, but yeah, that window you can't shoot through, so you can see right now it's just going to be a big standoff here on the Climatizer side. We're down to 19 squads, 55 players remaining. Zone 2 is still 2 minutes away from closing up, and with a lot of teams already up here, I would like to start taking a look at the teams down to the south, or that might be rotating in late. Teams like G2, who we know love to run around the edges, and it's going to be TBA who are currently riding this one out. Davis Wave, our first rat cam for Pro Night.
Yeah, we'll see if someone can find this mouse and swipe him away, but it's a little bit sad. I had some high regards for TBA, but notably if we look towards previous results from some of these pro leagues, it hasn't been a surefire for them at any point. We're still back now, of course, down towards the south, finally with this ring closing in. Teams like Nerf haven't quite found their rotation yet. They're just gearing up. You see them on the crap. They're getting ready. Got that Prowler to work with as well. Other squads here, we take a look towards the west, and Excedrin, they've made heavy rotation. Last time we checked in with them, they were all the way down by staging. Now on the outskirts of that Skyhook, we'll have to play through the train tunnel here at some point, or maybe take it even further south out towards Fragment.
You can see why they are playing so cautiously, literally on the edge with the rings to their back. G2 were patrolling around the western side. Now they're starting to move in here as they're trying to find a fight. They've been running this Ashe Valkyrie composition, which works out so well for them, as Designful's able to get some nice angles off there, as Xset is another squad here on the northern side. I don't think they're in the next zone. Yeah, they are not. They're currently trying to gatekeep Team Liquid here, who are sticking with the Caustic, are sticking with the Valkyrie as well. But right now, it looks like Xset might have their number, cracking 2 of their armors.
And this is a team that I was exclusively watching out for before we got in here tonight. And you know what? I understand why Xset is putting such a disadvantage towards Team Liquid right now. This is one of the best spots to hold, especially as we see that ring start to peter even further south from its original position here. Holding this line in the back can be so crucial, especially if you play around some of those carts. Notably, too, if they keep this one up a little bit longer, you might get some rotations from the backside that come out on collapse on Liquid anyways. For now, though, we look back towards Intel, and they're not doing well for themselves. We see pickups between Ghost and Start a Fight here, as now Mooney, only one left standing.
Oh boy, CLG getting knocked as well. So it's a 3-team affair as Team Liquid finally getting engaged upon. It looks like a defensive bombardment was used by Fun, who narrowly makes it behind cover, but they've got to be careful. The longer this fight takes, you have to expect Team Excedrin to come up from behind them. You will also have Team G2 in the area for now, but Nocturnal's doing a great job with his wingman so far, keeping them at bay, and buys the time for Flanker and Fun to heal up to full. But again, there's just so much utility, so much of their economy being spent here. They might be running out of heals on either side. Scene 9, of course, over at Climatizer are able to pick up some of this loot from that 3-team fight that took place just before this as well, and they're sitting pretty. They've got triple purple armors, and you can see now Team Excedrin are about to get gatekept themselves. Round 2 closing up, but it looks like they should be safe in the zone. They still need to fight back up against the squad, though.
curious if this might be G2. We saw them covering this area just a moment ago here in Excedrin. They opted to try to play through the tunnel. Now, don't forget, they do have the opportunity to run this one back and exit out towards Survey Camp if they don't want to take it, but that's leaving something behind you. You want to kind of set it in stone and know that you are protected before you make certain rotation here. Either way, you still got 1:50 on that clock, so there's no guarantee. We take a look back towards Team Liquid. They're in a fight themselves, and it looks like they picked up the successful win here against Xset, pulled out that rotation.
Yeah, they're very fortunate, but here comes the third party. Renegades showing up for this one. Nocturnal goes down, and the Renegades will go ahead and pick up these 2 kill points for themselves. So unfortunately for Team Liquid, they ultimately did get third party. It wasn't G2, it wasn't going to be Excedrin, but there it is. Saucer does go down as Complexity does show up to this one eventually, but they only get the knock, and they're not going to be able to really punish that one. No, Complexity will just back off. As you can see, that bubble was expended for that fast res, and Complexity bided their time that entire time that Xset and Team Liquid were fighting. We're hoping to find the moment. Unfortunately for them, they're not going to be able to get it here. Luckily for them, again, they are in a really good spot. They've got the northern side of the zone. We can't see the next ring on their minimap, unfortunately, but you have to expect that the fact that they're still fighting for the northern side, that they're still trying to clear out their back right here, is that this is going to be relatively safe for them, and they've got a lot of spacers. You can see they're well spread out across the northern side, making sure that they are controlling as much space up here as possible.
Right, and as we take a look back towards our next ring here, it puts it into everyone's minds exactly what you were concerned with. Of course, Complexity's not going to be giving this one up anytime soon. It's right where they want to be here in the exchange for what will occur here. You've got a lot of squads that still haven't quite made their way in, notably G2 here, just on the outskirts, still playing that high ground around Epicenter. There's a lot of space for them if they want to find their way up through Survey Camp, but they just have to bide their time. But within a few seconds, though, with that zone closing, they'll have to pull the trigger at some point here.
Yeah, this ring is continuing to indicate that it will be pulling up towards Complexity. There is a chance that we saw right there, that white post ahead of Nano on his right, where the ring could end. And so a lot of these teams that are stacked on top of each other over here at Climatizer might have to do something soon to really try and cull the numbers that have gathered here at Climatizer, really, because it's just, there's going to be a pileup eventually when the ring does,
too much.
I would imagine, pull away from this spot. You can see Nano, he's got an eye on that drop, and that might be a bait.
For now, I like, though, that they're covering all the angles that they've got here. As you said, it's going to be that pile up, so just giving themselves the realm to expand at a certain point, especially if the zone tends to close here once we start looking at round 5 in the further future for these teams, gives them that level of access. Either way, you still are very, very right, though. It's becoming a little bit of a madhouse in this region. I'm counting 3 or 4 squads all within 10 to 20 feet away from one another. Once the action finally breaks out, you'll see half our lobby disappear potentially.
Yeah, we've got Team Razor here, start of fight. Team Noble about to get into engagement. Bubble was forced out by Lucas. And he's got to back off as they try to peek him, and they're going to force out the bubble themselves here as he backs off. Nice bubble, just to cut off the gas at the very least, but now Team Noble, they've lost out on 2. That's going to be the Pittsburgh Knights getting the clean sweep there. Armor swap up for Joey as well, and they don't lose out on anyone, but the aggression is still pushing. As you can see, Madness gets that knock on to Joey, and so now Phony showing up to get a knock himself, and finally the fighting breaks out over here at Climatizer, down to 13 squads with 40 seconds left to go before the zone starts closing in, and the numbers definitely are being culled over here.
You see their start a fight. They pick up a majority of that kill presence on that last fight due to the fact that we saw Aves throw out that defensive bombardment. So they're going to be really happy racking up those 3 on their belts here. We haven't really discussed it yet, but you still have this major region in play as well. We just saw Phony pick up a kill here from across the ways, and now they continue to hold on to this bridge for dear life, but as you ooh and ah, we do see the drop come through. Messiah to climb over the ridge, but not successful on the push. A 2v2 to ensue, but right around the corner being that Valkyrie won't survive for long.
Yeah, Scissors gets thirsted as well, so Vizio should just be riding this one out as a solo. It's been G2 that have been riding this ridge line here, and we're able to get involved from long range with that triple take. They're a thirst for themselves, and now Cruisin' will be able to clean up Splash. So we're down to 12 squads now, 31 players remaining. A number of rats still surviving here as round number 4 closes up. Resulted with the triple take, not quite connecting yet, but at least forces out that Wraith Q. Now they've got majority presence here on the western side of the zone. C9 starting to push out from their spot inside Climatizer. Bubble's already been used to, but there it is, the first knock onto Bursty. So now C9, they've got the man advantage. They still have the ring closing in though, but they have the rooftop control.
Right, and they find that full thirst there, so they know for a fact it's going to be the 2. You see Razor falls well from below, I believe, so clearing up sides from both angles here. G2, they themselves finding the rotation just up against the side here of our field. Nerf, they found themselves out of guys, and they're just trying to survive 2 members down. Haven't quite worked their way into Climatizer yet, but they're going to have to surpass that wall at some point. There's plenty of people behind them willing to take this spot.
Yeah, there's 4 teams still basically in the buildings over there by Climatizer, but you gotta worry about that's gonna be G2 showing up to try and get involved, to try and take these kills, and it will be Designful with the double kill, getting both force and turn. So G2 now starting to really frag out, and this is looking like it's gonna be a typical G2 night.
Oh, absolutely here. I'm curious, though, there's still a lot of verticality that they've got to play into there. You see the realm of what C9 has to work with. We saw that Devotion, how it just absolutely shredded, but now that they've got a little bit more access towards the cover here, they'll be able to heal up and push the aggression forward. How this zone will close will be absolutely crucial because hopefully we'll see C9 drop and kind of level the playing field here for some of these teams. Still, though, notably, you have that major northern region in play where we saw squads like Complexity hold out here.
Yeah, they have just been spending basically the entire time up here as soon as they saw ring number 2, and they really haven't had to move. They've tried to get involved in some third parties. They haven't been able to successfully get a kill quite yet, but it's, of course, more of a marathon for them, making it to the late game, fighting for that top 3 position, and then finding the kill points there. Right now, though, Complexity, they've got control over this caravan for the time being. They're keeping a watchful eye on their back as well, because they will have to eventually worry about that, but the big threat is going to be Renegades here. They've got the double red armors for themselves. They'll have the HP advantage, but they just need to find an opening up against Complexity. They're just not finding it quite yet. G2, though, they're looking to just third party all these fights. 3 teams stacked on top of each other there. Cloud9, CLG, and that's a beautiful bubble, keeping Designful alive for the time being, but it's Resulta, the first one to fall, and it looks like G2 just bit off a bit more than they can chew, as Designful will get thirsted, and it looks like Cloud9 is coming in for the cleanup up against them. They've lost out on one of their own, though, and it looks like Naughty might fall as well unless he can get this bat off. Oh, looks like he is safer now. Renegades pushing up at the final 3 squads as they're going to go ahead and take out Complexity there. The nades coming in, and it's going to be Team Renegades with a huge man advantage. They've got the kill points behind it as well. They just need to finish off Cloud9, but they've allowed them the time to actually recover just a bit. But Zach Mason gets cracked, and now he needs to heal. Stay Naughty in a 1v3 currently. Gets the knock onto Sorcerer, and he's still healthy here. He's got the scan and the Beast of the Hunt. He might successfully pull this 1v3 off, but he needs an armor swap here as he gets cracked. It's the bait and switch, though, for Renegades to finish it all off with the numbers advantage. Renegades will take game number 1 of the evening.
Honestly, I'm surprised to see Renegades find this level of success coming into our first pro night of 2022. They've had some uneven footing in our respective weeks here in 2 and 1. So the fact that they were able to enact control, displayed Complexity from the area that they had, being that it was kind of that God spot, and then push that forward to the victory is absolutely wonderful to see.
Yeah, beautiful win for Renegades there with a pretty high frag count as well. So I'm looking forward to the Mobile 1 leaderboard, but we're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we'll have game number 2 of Series E right after this.
Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true side trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. With the bars and the breaks, I'm talking one chance that I was so close for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go.
One down and 5 more to go as the Renegades come out with a win in game number 1. They take out C9. Naughty looking like he possibly could have taken the 1v3, but wasn't quite able to do it, and Renegades grabs the win. So well done from them. A lot of chaos in that late circle. Honestly, we were jumping from G2 to C9 to Renegades and more. A lot of teams in a very small amount of space there in the late game, and the Renegades are the ones that come out on top. Let's check out our first player of the game here for tonight's Pro Night action, and it's going to go over to Vaxlon, former member of CLG, now competing with this Renegades team. 6 kills and 2 assists in that game and over 1,000 damage. So well played from Renegades. Not the kind of big ticket 27-point start that we saw from Vizio last night, but this still is going to feel very good for Renegades to kick things off, and they'll be feeling very comfortable at the top of that Mobile 1 leaderboard here at the start of the night. So we'll have to see how things work out for them as the night continues. Do want to remind you guys, if you want to pick up products from any of our partners, you can over at walmart.com/esports arena. Make sure to head over there and check out and get everything that you need from all of our partners at any time. Again, that's walmart.com/esports arena. We are going to go to a quick break though. When we come back, we'll get ready for game number 2. Don't touch that browser. We'll be back in a few.
Refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0 calorie treat. They're all our top flavored splash.
It's fruit freshen. Now, even the biggest headaches are toast.
Excedrin keeps your head in the game.
Or no more throbbing noggins.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. In game number 1, it was Team Renegades taking the big dub there. And like you said, Zephyr, just before the break, they were able to wrestle away that God spot from Complexity. Now, we didn't get to see it because we had to take a look at what was going on down there on the south side of the zone. G2 ended up fragging out, but they were not able to finish it off strong. And then eventually it was Renegades coming in for the cleanup there.
Right, and not just that, we had C9 continue to keep control of that climatizer region, defend against all of the madness that we had the opportunity to see in those final moments, and come out on top of teams like G2. And albeit they didn't win the game, they still found themselves a nice position into second.
That's right. So kill points and, of course, the placement points will matter. So let's go ahead and check in with the Mobile 1 leaderboard to see who stands up top. Did G2 do enough or did C9 do enough? Oh, looks like G2 didn't actually frag out as hard as we thought. They only ended up getting 9 points. And Renegades, despite taking the dub, only find themselves in the lead by 3 points up against Cloud9.
Yeah, surprisingly a big disparity here, but you've got to give major props over to Cloud9 especially. I know they placed second, but a majority there of those points fostered in from the fact that they were able to take a lot of those successful kills coming out of that region. Let me tell you, that wasn't hard. One team, though, that does stand out to me that we didn't really have the opportunity to keep a good look at was Ghost. Looks like they did manage to pick up quite a bit there over by that Climatizer region as well.
Yeah, I believe they might have gone down during that big scramble. It was really hard to keep track of the kill feed because all of a sudden we went from 10 teams down to 3 in a matter of seconds, it felt like. But yeah, we're just getting game number 2 set up right now. Let's take a look at the Mobile One high performance moment, though. Just before we get into game number 2, we had a lot as we saw a lot of fighting taking place throughout every portion of the game, essentially, because it is pro night. A lot of our a lot of our partner teams ended up kind of getting displaced from their drop, and we saw some 50-50s taking place, notably Team Intel over at Overlook and along with Team Excedrin going over towards staging side. But here's the high performance moment from game number 1. And let's see what it is. It's going to be G2 trying to control the south side, but you can see right there, Cloud9 were on their right, forcing out the bubble early on, and then they ultimately got picked apart by 2 separate squads, essentially.
Right, and I think you worded it very, very well coming into that game 1 there. Just bit off a little bit more than they could chew. I really think C9 had the better positioning here, at least one that could foster the rotation further out towards this pillar here. So that came back to at least highlight and give them the need that they wanted to find their way forward.
And you can see the majority of the teams were there basically at the end, still coming out from Climatizer. We knew that the ring was going to be pulling away. And so it just came down to who was going to win that fight up top, Renegades or Complexity. And ultimately it was Renegades. Unfortunately for Complexity, despite having the God spot, they just did not find the action. And so I believe they really only picked up the placement points throughout all of this. Maybe 1 or 2 kill points here or there. Still not a great game number 1, especially when the ring ends up pulling in your favor.
Right, and no one really was pressing them for that level advantage until the very, very end. And as a result, that's why we see them place as low as they did on the standings. I believe finishing, what was it? Yeah, 8th place with 5 points there. So really only bolstering themselves due to their positioning. Maybe we get a little bit more of a rotation out of Complexity. We'll see this squad shine because I know they're capable of a lot more.
Yeah, we know how strong they are as a team fighting squad, as a macro squad as well. But maybe, you got a little bit cold there up in the north, just not having really any action. They had that small spurt of action when they tried to come in for that third party up against Team Liquid and Renegades. But ultimately, the fact that they never really pulled the trigger on any of those fights, that could have been the difference maker for Team Complexity. If they had just taken that full 3v3, they would have had the north side to themselves. They would have had a bit more kill points and maybe some extra utility to use in their defense up against Team Renegades or any other squad that try to pull that spot away from them. Right now, we're waiting for game number 2. Our first zone of the night was a northern one. And so I'm glad that we at least got a northern zone first in game number 1, right? And so now we're not left wondering if we're just going to have south zones all night. But I think just by saying that, I've already cursed the next 5 games.
I don't know. Now we're going to get Thermal Station all night long. That'll be the only thing we see here. Before we move on from it, though, I do want to touch on one team that had major success last night, picking up wins, and now has continued that one forward, surprisingly. You got Start of Fight. They finished 5th place, but the fact that they were able to control and play against teams in our pro here was actually a really big surprise for me.
Yeah, Team Start a Fight. They were one of those teams caught up in that scramble over at Climatizer. They found an early position there, but ultimately, of course, just the pressure was too much there. But here we go. Heading into game number 2 of Pro Night. Remember, Renegades currently standing in 1st place, but Cloud9, not to be outdone, are only down by 3. So with 5 games left to go, there's still plenty of room for movement. Let's go ahead and join on board with our winners from game number 1. I believe Renegades dropping down on the southern side of the map. They're making a straight beeline over towards Tree. And, they've learned to play this tree drop extremely well. And it's surprising when you consider that they have G2 as a neighbor, that at any point they can run into G2. But we've seen in the past that, oh boy. Oh no, I have heard the scream. It's going to be all thermal station zones now.
You should have just kept your mouth shut here. We're playing directly into the G2 powerhouse. It is Thermal Station, of course. You get a little bit more of the rotation out of Harvester and Landslide as well for what we may be seeing here from these other squads once they have to put pedal to the metal here. But this is as far southwest as it gets right now.
Yeah, the big question here is how is G2 going to play this? We know they like to take their time looting, but because of the zone pulling this way, they need to set up a little bit earlier instead of being able to get all the loot here in Thermal Station. They know it's not pulling down to the southwest houses, and typically in the past we have seen them taking position basically on this tower. But I think in the past they've also learned that they don't find as many kill points from that spot. So where are they going to play this is the big question, because that will kind of change the pace of the game.
I think maybe out towards the northwest here, you've got some of these buildings. The one I like to call the tiered cake, that kind of dome-shaped one, could be something that may be good. If they're looking to play a bit more of a gatekeeper, you can already see Gent there across a distance away, so they could maybe pull out a bit more towards the east and try to find some takes on teams like Renegades or XSET who find the rotation in. Optimally, I'd like to see them go over the kind of fissure towards that ridge and defend all those who might be working their way in from staging.
You can see, though, other teams that are moving in from the northern east part of this ring right now is Team Vizio find themselves in a fight coming out from Harvester here as the full three-man just below them. Fury's got to be careful playing the height by himself as they are just backing away, and so they're not going to try and fight for that spot. They'll it looks like they much rather prefer fighting over the choke, or actually just from these buildings right now. You can see this is the trouble you run into when you go for that early Loba, when you go for that early rotation style. You end up giving up loot in favor of having the priority on the rotates, but that means you end up giving away some of these armors. Unfortunately for him, checks that bin, and it's going to be another white armor. So no improvement in terms of HP for Vizio here, but they're going to keep on the move for now. We have some early fighting taking place right now. CLG actually showing up and taking out one. That's going to be enemy going down. So Team Excedrin currently down one player.
Yeah, we just saw them trying to find rotation out of staging there, and they were pushed back by Vizio there on their coverage of that choke here. So CLG finding a little bit of clearance as a result, picking up one kill for themselves, and now they're going to finally make their way here into the second round of the zone, heading out to where I was kind of looking at as one of those more God spot equivalents. Thankfully, it is round one, right? So you still have plenty of time to get enemy back on the board here to play within the rest of this game.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're not just instantly going over to Hot Springs right now to try and plug him in. You can see another team actually using the balloon to rotate out, and you got to be careful taking those shots. They do have the Valkyrie here for Team Razor, so they could have spotted out that it was a two-man, but it looks like Team Razor are going to put more importance here on the rotate, as you got another Valkyrie ultimate being used right now. That should be CLG. No shots connecting for Bursty there, so they're going to try and get deeper into Thermal Station right now. But like you said, playing this ridgeline can be incredibly strong. You got the buildings right there next to that respawn beacon that you can try and use as a power position to gatekeep squads and pick up kill points in the early game.
Right. And I will say I think it's very early for squads to really take up home here towards that ridge. It can be one of the hardest places to defend, albeit being something that is very good to play around here. So you see a lot of teams like CLG, like Razor, they're going in much deeper towards Thermal Station, towards these spots that are still open and non-contested because they work just as well. It's just when it comes to the rotations in late game, you may not have as much access as compared to up there on the ridge, especially if this zone pulls a little bit further north and you have to be coming back over the fissure to play into that verticality.
Oh, Team Intel, we're trying to consider playing the bottom side of the tower there. Mooney's going to have to take a second pass to realize that there's actually a team inside already. So now they have been committed to the low ground here. It can be a little bit difficult, but they at least have this platform to play off of. It doesn't seem like there's anyone there. It can seem a bit vulnerable. Yeah. There are spots where you can really negate a lot of that vulnerableness, and it looks like they will just commit to this low ground for now.
It's a tough place to be there if they don't have the kind of dramatic irony of the information that we do, but there's plenty of areas, especially up there among that cliffside, that they could be playing. Instead, they're going to be running directly into Razor there. I'm curious if they're going to be playing this kind of tiered dome building. There's no one in it currently, or I believe there may be just one squad, but we know it can fit upwards of 2 to 3 in some of its best moments.
Yeah, we see not a lot of teams playing this position right now, and I would imagine it's just because of the lack of that that intel beacon there for them. And so it looks like Team Intel will be able to play the first floor. We do have a squad inside right now. We'll see if the ring eventually does pull away towards this circle building, maybe even go over towards that platform that we saw Team Razor on right now. Is see Bursty just trying to get an angle for himself. They do have that door griefed. Ooh. He gets cracked and has to go back immediately here. Now you've got to be careful. You got a team to your south. You know teams will be coming in from the northern side. And so Team Razor, I think right now discretion might be the better part of valor, and they should just try and make sure they lock down their spot from anyone trying to rotate in from the north or the south.
Yeah, absolutely here. We take a look at Lazarus. This is our team that sits on the second floor of this building, just right up above Intel. Looking back at game one here, they fell quite early against Cloud9, and as a result, didn't really find much to work with, finishing 19th overall. So definitely need to find some level of control coming into game two to push themselves back up here.
Yeah, they do have this LOBA, and with the amount of teams that are in the area, this black market boutique can find itself a lot of value, but the fighting will probably be coming around zone number 3 or 4 more than anything else, and so it's going to be some time for them. At the very least, though, they have the blue armors. They've got the purple as well on Vize, so they're not struggling in the armor department for right now. Surprised that Davis gets that armor swap for himself, but Vize should be going for the peaks for now, but right now, it looks like all the teams are just going to bide their time. The ring, round number 1 has finished closing, and we still have all 60 players now back into the game. And so, no big action. It looks like a lot of the 50-50s not taking place as they were in game number 1.
No, I'd be really interested to see what teams still are looking to make rotations in towards this zone exclusively here. We talked about those choke points just north of Thermal Station. Those are going to become real high priority real estate, especially for those who are looking to gatekeep the edge and anyone who might be extremely late here. We look at teams like Liquid who are just finding their way in, or other squads like Complexity C9 who play a bit further towards the north.
Yeah, Liquid, when it comes to these southern zones, do like to take their time. They were able to pick up some gold equipment for themselves, so it looks like they used the Valkyrie deploy to try and get past the team at the very least here. They got another 55% until the next one comes up, and it looks like one of those squads they had to bypass was going to be Complexity. Already have themselves the Kraber in hand. Monsoon tries to take that shot, narrowly misses, but this is the opening. 123 onto that jib, forcing him back, but Shiny's taking some damage himself, and now he's got to be careful. See, they need to creep that door for him. We'll see if maybe any nades come in and they try to get a coordinated shot off onto him. But for now, whichever team is here, I imagine it might be Team Excedrin. They've got to be careful. Team Complexity, they learned from the last game. They want to find some early kills.
Oh, just barely unable to find it right on the rip there. Now they know this one is open, so they have no access to pushing this one back in terms of the angles they have to work with. Now Monsoon maybe look to see if he can find something else here, just barely missing another one there as we see that Wraith peek out.
Yeah, these scans, you know, can be very helpful, but when you have your Bloodhound right in front, oh boy, that is dangerous. Reptar gets that first knock. It is going to be Excedrin on the other side of this one. Bubble out from Shiny so they can advance forward past this gas. They've already taken out Kimchi Lee, and now there's only one player remaining for Team Excedrin. But Complexity should have this all locked down, and eventually they'll get cruising. Monsoon almost falling, but that was a beautiful, beautiful take coming out from Complexity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really surprised to see such an aggressive movement there from Monsoon to just bash right through that door, Kraber in hand to start this one off, albeit not really having the angles to work with. So the fact that they came out on top there, a really impressive display of skill. We look, though, out towards the east here. Lava Siphon still within the range of this zone. We'll be seeing a little bit more of a dominant movement from teams like Esports Arena and those probably like Renegades who are still kind of just hovering around this location here. And I'll tell you what, it's not going to be easy, but maybe this Valkalt will make it.
Yeah, the zone was closing. They were being gate kept by the team inside on that platform there, and so they'll be able to just go ahead and bypass that, move their way on over towards Tree. It doesn't seem like there's going to be anyone there, but the big question is anyone playing that choke point? And it looks like there is a team over by that beacon building inside Tree, but Esports Arena, they don't take too much damage for this rotate. As I say that, Rolders gets cracked and he might actually fall. They need to drop down, and you need to see if Duplex can maybe drop that bubble for his squad. But it looks like with the gold armor, Rolders is going to be fine now. But the big worry is, we already know there's a team over at Lava Siphon. We know that there's 2 teams in the area here. Will Esports Arena end up being put into a sandwich amongst all these squads?
You've got that round closing in just 20 seconds away, and it won't force them here out of the tree area. They'll still have a realm of cover to play with for this extended period. But when we talk about the future in terms of rotations that they have available, they've got a contest against at least 2 squads to find some level of success. Out up here towards the north, just above what we were looking at, TBA here taking some successful fights. They find the full flesh here, the knock potentially to follow. That dome going to be down real short.
Yeah, Sung still needs to buy some time for himself, getting that med kit off as Complexity lights up the kill feed, taking out Team Nerf. TBA, though, just disengaging from this fight right now. Great port to get them away, or is utilizing someone else's port to get away from this fight now. But the team inside the fence line, it looks like they're setting up a crossfire. You got 1 player on that bridge side, 2 players off to the right here, and Davis is keeping an eye on that. They're gonna try and get across the board, but oh no, his bubble was just way too far away from him. You can see how long it took to deploy. He ended up getting melted throughout all of that. It's Team Noble on the other side of this one, as Stomps gets the knock onto Lucas, and there it is. Team Noble knocked out. TBA still need to recover, but here comes the third party.
Third party coming in here. I like the angle from Sung to try to wrap this one back up in their favor, but C9 still looking fairly healthy. Zach Mazer even able to find a full reboot on his shields there. Comes around the back end looking potentially for that full thirst. Make sure you rack up the KP, and now looking to hunt down our rat.
Yeah, those gold bag res to get Naughty right back into things as well. So Cloud9 now controlling the northeast side of the zone. It looks like Esports Arena will go ahead and use another Valkyrie deploy to get themselves even further inside Thermal Station now. They're playing this far back corner, as it is currently safe. Would love to take a look at the ring. We've got 45 seconds before it starts closing up, and so maybe this is an indicator that the ring does end up pulling down this way. I'd be surprised if it did, or if this is just a pit stop for Team Esports Arena.
I'm pretty sure this is going to be a pit stop, as we see pretty much no squads looking to hold this area. They've all made rotations out and more towards the east, playing directly into Thermal here. So probably within 20 seconds, once we get that information regarding the ring, we'll see that it's more than likely pulling away here. Even still, we've got a few squads to contest against there. You see double angles, one running away, one from the side there in the north.
Yeah, one team's playing that platform to their southeast right now of Team Esports Arena, so it's not completely free, but it's not as congested as the rest of Thermal Station is. Black Market Boutique going down, and so they'll be able to top off on ammo. You can see Esports Arena are just going to utilize this Loba to get themselves into the late game. Complexity now inside the south side of Thermal Station, playing off the jungle gyms here. Reptar now has that Kraber, but it's like a second-hand Kraber. 3 shots left in it. Monsoon said, yeah, you can play with it now.
Yeah, so I wonder if they picked that one up from Nerth after taking them out here just a moment ago. Either way, it gives them a level of access towards some of these angles. The problem, though, they've got maybe too much to cover here. Being as low as they are, all that verticality could come back to bite. We take a look, though, at Ghost, who are trying to trail in their own fight here. Double knocks found on to C9 as they're trying to make their way in through this choke. And even still, you've got more than just one squad holding this down. Vizio along the sidelines looking to make plays as well.
Oh, and they know. They were keeping an eye on that kill feed. They know that it's Team Ghost up there. And Clarify, from I don't even know where, was able to get the knock onto 6. Will they be able to res him up in time? It looks like Vizio are going to try and advance on this for now. Good shots out from the triple take. And it's going to be clean again from where? Getting that re-knock onto 6. Defensive bombardment has been used. There is a bubble here, though. They might be able to survive and weather the storm here. Scissors does not want to relent on the pressure as Clarify tries to get aggressive. But it looks like Team Ghost might have been able to recover, got the res themselves, and now they're pushing out on Xset. There's a 1-for-1 exchange as Madness does go down, but Xset have a beautiful angle here from Clarify. He needs to get that one last shot off. gets the knock onto 6, but he still has to contend with Madness. There it is, the final cleanup coming out, but Team Vizio comes in for that third party, and it looks like it's just going to be an exchange coming up from both sides.
Well, they managed to pick up the little that they could, but they've got to find some heals fairly quickly here. You still have the whole squad looking to make rotation down in here to this valley, and honestly, they don't really have the best position to work with when we talk about cover here. For now, though, we wrap all the way back to the very beginning. CLG still haven't quite left the center here. You were right. They're just holding this core out for as long as it gets.
Where was Mamba able to pick up a Kraber from this spot? We've got a lot of Krabers in play right now. We saw Complexity had one of their own. Mamba basically has a fresh one with 10 shots left. So this is going to be a nice tool to use to pick up some well-needed KP for themselves right now. Mamba does have the one at the very least. And typically when you play this spot, when you're playing the bottom of this tower, you're not able to get as much as, well, what CLG already has. One kill point to their name. They're in the top 15, and they've got Complexity locked down here on the other side.
That ring's closing. It's going to be pushing maybe some squads that exist behind them. I'm curious how much control they truly have within this region. You see teams like Splash who are within the area. They just happen to be on the high point sword, some of our jungle gyms here. And I'll be honest, they're not looking too hot here.
Oh, this is just looking like a game of tower defense. As you can see, both squads really trying to play off their heights, but it's going to be some exchanges coming out. G2 now pushing out, and they did actually end up pulling away towards that back pocket that we saw earlier on. Flurry of kills on the kill feed here, as we're now down to 12 squads remaining. Mamba with this Kraber, will he be able to get a knock? Hits for the back, only the 99 there, unfortunately for him, and not really in a spot to try and utilize that damage and try and play off of it. As you can see, the resets coming out from that squad, they're going to go ahead and pop those barrels to make sure no one pushes them. So CLG, they do have some cover to play off of here on the northern side, but with 50 seconds left to go, they have multiple teams to deal with on their rotate in.
We just see a few knocks there in that kill feed. Complexity picking up 2 for themselves regarding their position that they were holding just a moment ago when he checked in here. So not completely the safest of positions. CLG, they're going to be forced to rotate here in just a moment into a lot of these Hawks who are just eyeing prey out here. And most of the area right in front of them, especially out there towards the east, is still within a lot of vertical advantage. That's where we saw squads like Vizio play just a moment ago. G2, though, looking for an axis point in there, already found the knocks.
Yeah, now they're going to go ahead and back off as they picked up some kill points for themselves. They don't need to get over aggressive. They just need to get involved, steal away some of these kill points for themselves, and they are successful at that. 5 seconds left to go as round 5 starts closing up, and somehow we did end up getting the pull down here towards the southern side of Thermal Station. Now G2, did they learn their lesson from the last game? It looks like they have. That's a knock onto Fun as Mamba will finish off flanker. Startifight's going to try and get out of dodge, but oh no, they might actually go down to the ring. Nope, they get out just in time. One tick would have done it onto them. And now G2, they're gonna push up that phase breach across the way, already forcing out the bubble from the Pittsburgh Knights, and they're gonna pick up these kills as well. And now, do they need to climb up? Do they have to worry about the squad above them? Is the big question. It looks like they're safe for now, as it's just the Pittsburgh Knights. Gilderson off on his own. The Renegades trying to fight as they are getting sandwiched as well. And you can see all the kills going over towards Vizio right now.
Yeah, Vizio, they've kept, we saw their control and how they fought this one out against Xset and Ghost extremely early on to this game, and it looks like they've been able to pick up anyone and everybody in that region. Now, as a result, you've got teams like Complexity, like CLG2, who actually can't work their way onto this high ground anymore.
What a huge reversal for Complexity, by the way. After game number 1, where they picked up almost no kill points, Reptar has 11. He has 11 kill points right now. We're down to our final 4 squads remaining. It should be a 3v1 with one rat running around somewhere. G2 trying to patrol on the high ground here. If this fight breaks out between G2 and whatever squad is up top right now, Team Vizio probably, that's going to actually buy a moment for Complexity to climb up and come in for the third party.
I'm really surprised by G2 here. I was more concerned how they were going to find their way up. They found it in the midst of a team fight there from Vizio and slipped right into the backside of this zone. And the fact that they're playing these angles so well, picking up a ton of damage there into Vizio, just keeping them at bay, gives me hope for this squad.
Yeah, Shiny has 2 kills himself, so Complexity have at least 13. And so it is going to be one rat surviving in this final late game. But here's the last ring closing up. You can see teams start a fight. It's Matt Pickett trying to rat things out. And as long as he doesn't make any noise, he might actually survive for some time. You can see Complexity are keeping an eye up top on our Tomcat rat cam here. Matt Pickett has an opportunity to try and climb up and come in for the third party really late. It's just unfortunate that he has no heals whatsoever here.
No, but now the fight breaks out there. Looks like Complexity slip up from the backside, find successful takes there onto Vizio when they were not paying attention. Their focus completely on G2 there, and as a result, they're quickly punished. But G2, they know they're low. They're going to follow up on this one. You've got Designful over and out here from the crate, and the rest of the team finally arriving makes this one a quick one.
Resulta goes down, and it looks like Matt Pickett successfully rat this one out, and now Complexity left in a 1v2 will be able to finish this one off and take a huge win. Reptar had, I don't know, I want to say 14?
That's crazy.
15 kills in this game. He basically took out a quarter of the lobby with the help of his squad, of course, but still 14 to 15 kills for Reptar there to round out round number 2, which is a huge reversal from what happened in game number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that this zone pulled as far south as it did, and they found a successful rotation through any team that pushed against them, was really remarkable. And especially into that last fight there, they were defending off of their successful take against Vizio and then had to turn around and take on what was G2 on their quick rotation in, and they were able to do it.
Yeah, beautiful job coming out for Complexity, taking game number 2. We're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we'll have game number 3 of Series E right after this.
Refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0 calorie treat. They're all our top fresh flavored splash.
It's fruit freshen. Now, even the biggest headaches are toast.
Excedrin keeps your head in the game.
Or no more throbbing noggins.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
Versus coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true slide trademark is at the edge of your dreams. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Hit the bars in the breaks. I'm talking one chance that was so good for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go.
I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
It's going down, 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 it's going right now. They're gonna hear our voice, they're gonna hear our voice, they're gonna hear our voice. It's going down, we're gonna make some noise, we're gonna make some noise, we're gonna make some noise. It's going down, we got the right moves, we got the right moves, we got the right moves. It's going down.
Welcome back, everybody. Game 2 in the books there, and Complexity grabs a win with a big showing from the squad there. Just able to chill on the top of the cliff as that final rat moves on, and Complexity grabbed the victory. Well played from them. Let's check out our second player of the game for today, and you're going to like the numbers here. I was able to take a peek before we came in. 16 kills from Reptar. Who cares about the assists and the damage? 16 kills in a single game from Reptar in that one. That is at the very least, just Reptar in the placement points is 28 on its own. What a showing, and I feel confident saying that is the best single game we have seen from a player in Series E ever. Period. Calling it now. Reptar, 16 kills. What a banger from the Complexity player there, along with a couple of assists and some damage as well. But that was insane. Well played. A crushing defeat there from Complexity, and they will be feeling very good there as we see, in a couple of minutes where they stand on that Mobile One leaderboard, but they'll be feeling pretty good, I imagine. Just want to remind you guys, once again, we are open all across the country. So if you want to come out, hang out with us, play, and compete, just use exclamation point locations in Twitch chat. You can see where all of our stores are all across the country. We would love to see you in an esports arena very soon, so make sure to check that one out. We are going to go to a quick break, though. When we come back, the final game of our first half, we'll have Zephyr and Jamerson for you here in just a couple of moments. So we'll see you on the other side.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. In game number 2, Complexity took a big dub with Reptar scoring 16 frags for himself. I did get to take a look at a few tweets, and they had 21 kills overall in that last game with the plus 12. So that's going to be huge for them when we take a look at the Mobile One leaderboard in just a moment. But what a way they did it, because they weren't just fragging out in the beginning. That meant they were fragging out at all stages of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. They kept a level of control on their entire rotation down from the north, and then where they were able to successfully hold off against any and every team apparently in the thermal station area. I mean, that right there is what, 7 squads alone?
Yeah, 7 whole squads essentially with 21 kills there. They get the plus 12. Remember, they only had 5 points, I believe, heading into game number 2. They found themselves 8th on the leaderboard, but now, just before game number 3, they should find themselves at least in the clear lead. We'll find out in just a moment. Let's take a look at the Mobile One high performance moment, and there they are. They're going to go ahead and put themselves at a plus 13 advantage over Team Renegades, who are now in 2nd place with 25 points. So a massive W for Team Complexity in game number 2.
And this is probably the most points I have really ever seen assumed in one game alone, and now it really separates them from the rest here. Notably, you still have some big names like Renegades, C9, G2, all holding on. Start a Fight, who we got the opportunity to see Matt Pickett wrap that one out, and most notably, a team that I'm very happy to see now kind of up there in our top 10, Team Vizio, who held off on that eastern side of the thermal station really well in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen in the past seasons of Series E where if a team ends up dominating Open Night, they're not able to translate the success as well into the Pro Nights. But Team Vizio are doing a fantastic job already here. After 2 games, they're averaging 8 points per game, which is typically something you want to see anyhow. So it's already a great start for Team Vizio at the very least, keeping pace with the rest of the pack. Let's go ahead and check in with the Mobile One high performance moment to see exactly what went on. And here's Team X in one of the first fights of the game.
Yeah, and this angle, especially here from Clarify, was monumental here to the success of this fight. They had no idea what lurked above them, and the thing was, Xset was looking remarkably low even going into the later parts of that one. The fact that he was able to clutch it up until the very end, even though he didn't quite take it, is still something that garners that moment right there.
Ultimately, Vizio did come in for that third party. They were eyeing it the whole time, just waiting for some trades to happen. And they were able to bide that time eventually. And with that, were able to secure, I believe, top 4 for themselves. But here we go, heading into game number 3 of the evening here for Pro Night at Series E. Let's join on board with Team Complexity with a huge reversal of fortune. After game number 1, where they had the God spot, they just weren't able to win out the one fight they needed to really finish off strong. When it came to having to just rotate all the way to the south side of the zone or south side of the map, that might have just been the ticket to success for them. And oh boy, we have another thermal zone.
Well, you know what? If we've got another thermal zone, I'd love to see what Complexity can do with it this time around. Thankfully, we do see staging become a little bit more into play, so hopefully we'll see the zone finish out there. For now, though, it looks like Intel facing a fight on their own out here towards the side. Stompez picking up a response as well. The full thirst there onto Mooney.
Yeah, we're just able to corner him and really utilize these barrels more than anything else, along with melees, to get that knock. TBA still fighting back, though. It's a 3v2 right now as Team Intel don't want to allow them to get out of here for free, but it looks like with Sung in the back, they will be able to back off. And now, how long do they want to try and camp these banners, or do they continue to loot here because they know that Team Intel are still recovering?
Right, they've got plenty of time to make this one happen, but they themselves, as you have noticed, that they've got to get the loot on their side and maybe come back, reapproach this fight looking a little bit better, still sitting on the double white and blue there. So that's why we see them pull all the way out towards Outlook and just give them a moment of respite. Whether or not they actually get a full revive off in that time is something that we'll probably not see, though.
Yeah, you can see Sung still has those barrels down. I don't know if they were able to like hop in for a quick second to try and pick up that banner, as TBA are going to go ahead and finally turn around after they've looted up a bit to try and take this fight up against the rest of Team Intel. I don't think they were able to hit the respawn or even pick up the beacon as they're trying to full swing onto what they thought was a solo player. Petty Boss has the backup of his squad. Now he ends up going down, unfortunately. TBA will go ahead and pick up the +3 here. That's the first team kill of the game. We're down to 19 squads, and now here's Team Renegades making an early rotate out from Tree. Gonna go ahead and play the pipes on the western side of Thermal Station. Big question is, where is a G2 throughout all of this?
Right. And you know what? I like this from the Renegades. We actually didn't see them go for such an aggressive rotation coming out of game 2. And as a result, they didn't really pick up anything regarding their points, even though they had such a remarkable first game of the night. So to see them being a little bit more aggressive, find their footing very early here in round 1, will hopefully bolster their position as we look for the rest of this game and how it plays out. But you're right. There's still a lot of teams within this area that we have yet to see here. G2 notably hasn't shown us any kind of rain, but maybe that's a good thing. You yourself said they kind of like to take some time, loot this one up, and they've got it right now.
Yeah, 30 seconds before the zone starts closing. And for Team Renegades here now, we'll see if they can utilize this position well. It can be pretty hard putting yourself on the western edge there to try and find any team to try and farm some damage off of, still sitting on those double whites for themselves. As Team Vizio are on the other side of this one, playing the donut building here. If they actually spot out kind of any vulnerability on the side of Team Renegades, there's an opportunity for Team Vizio to try and get aggressive on them.
Yeah, just for the little moment here, once we start seeing a lot of those teams come in, it doesn't become as clear for them, but I'm surprised that they pulled this deep into the thermal zone here. I think we're seeing a little bit of a change in how these teams rotate, not only from the performance of last game, but the fact that the northern area is still something that is left up to question for Game 3. Remember, I just brought it up, you still have saging in play here, and if you have to find your way onto that ridge, I personally think the western end is a little bit easier because you've got the double choke to play through when necessary. Lazarus here, they were the ones that held off on that dome that you currently see Vizio in right now. They themselves have taken to the center.
Yeah, there were going to be, hopefully, of course, relying upon the squad that should be above them, that should be playing the top of the tower from keeping any teams pushing them here. As we saw, I forget which team was trying to rotate in from the northeast side, but you do end up meeting a lot of resistance when it comes to trying to rotate into Thermal Station. Right now, though, Team Esports Arena taking their time, coming from the western side. They are moving through a launch site right now. There's still a squad that's actually still here. Skittlecakes is made well aware of that because of the charge rifle now, as the missile swarm just hitting for a little bit, forces out the bubble at the very least. Team Esports Arena, will they be able to find a full isolated 3v3 fight here, though?
Well, now that they know that the dome is no longer in play, that could be absolutely crucial. You see that defensive bombardment going to be thrown out here. Skillcakes, he doesn't care. He's already quick to make this rotation. What he doesn't know is that potentially these three could look for full collapse. Thankfully, Rolders, Duplex, they're quick to follow up here, and now he's looking to crack this one.
Yeah, it's a caustic squad on the other side of this one, and they were able to spot out the barrels through the doors, but oh my goodness, the peak comes out. Rolders almost falls there. Skittlecase is just going to try and hold the line.
Nox gas.
They have to go back, yeah, with that Nox gas grenade, cutting off the rest of the building here. Duplex, he's really got a lot of work cut out for him as he's trying to find an angle. He's the only thing that's stopping this squad from pushing up. That threat of a flank this entire time. Now Esports Arena going to take the fight to the outside here, giving up the inside, and now they have to worry about their flank. You can see the pings going down. They know there's someone behind them as well to try and cut them off. They're just going to go ahead and back away from this one for now, as things are looking a little bit dicey for them. They're running out of space because of these caustic barrels, but they're just going to try and funnel them into one doorway to fight off of.
Well, at least for now, they have the round one to play in, but I don't think they're going to be giving this one up. You can see right there, Valk, she's Flesh, and Duplex on the other side is going to be able to secure the successful kill, as well as that second knock there with one member remaining. That's going to be it here for our Nerf squad.
Yeah, that was some confidence like that Verholst used to have in a lot of these fights coming in. Skittlecakes picking up that Valkyrie role for himself, and I'm glad that he's looking comfortable on it for now. And you were talking about fighting in the ring. It's just round number 1. It's going to be fine for TBA here as they find themselves in their second fight of game number 3, forcing out a defensive bombardment. Now they're going to try and chase after this squad, or will this be a full disengage? They have options when they rotate through this ring. They can just go ahead and pull down to the south, but for right now, they're being mirrored by the squad, and Stomps might be caught up by himself. He needs Davis to go for this peek, and that's a beautiful one with the charge rifle, keeping Cloud9 in check for right now.
Cloud9, though, they're doing a great job of sticking together here. You get a little bit of a kind of split rotation out of what we just saw from TBA, and as a result, this is going to give them the safety to back off and keep making their way out east here of this zone. You already see Zach Mazer on his rotation. Now stay naughty, and I do be to potentially follow in just a moment. the further they make their way out west here, the more they become gatekeepers of what is the result of TBA.
Yeah, they're trying to watch that movement, right? Cut them off. But the thing is that they have the options. They can just go ahead and pull down south towards Big Mod. And I think that's the option that they ended up taking on the other side. Or TBA, or they might have just completely backed away. The ping's coming down from Cloud9 right now. And they have forced them all the way back over towards that vault tunnel, essentially.
This is crazy. We just saw TBA able to contest and hold this ridge. They give it up. So I guess both teams, they say, screw it, we're going to let this one go. We're already wasting way too much time playing as far out as we are. They'll probably reconvene here as we look more towards Siphon and Tree in just a moment. For now, though, we pull back to our major area here out towards the far west. Surprisingly, this one being more in play this time around. G2, they themselves on a hard rotation. Look at those arc stars on the stick. Constant ordinances just raining down. You've got storms in the forecast, and they're looking like a downfall.
That's just beautiful understanding of the game and just experience when it comes to thermal. You just know that squads do like to hole up in that position. They didn't have a scan to play off of. They didn't have the Bloodhound scan, but they know that teams like to play that back corner, and they know that they were able to creep up onto the edge of the map there and sneak in the nades and just completely wipe out Team Liquid off the face of the map. G2 doing a great job so far, and it's all down to just complete mastery of their drop spot.
Yeah, absolutely here. And the nice thing about it, too, is they come out from that fight completely healthy. They don't have to worry about any third parties. They've got this team just south of them who could make some moves, but they're not looking for any kind of pressure there. They themselves could look to engage or find a source of aggression at any given point. Now, though, Knights, they're playing this very, very dangerous ridge here. You've got the double choke available for a lot of squads, and it can be very hard to control. But they look for some level of action with that defensive bombardment, and with the dome down, they're going to go for it.
Yeah, that defensive bombardment just finds the opening for Asura to get this high ground angle, but it's a full three-man push coming out from Noble, only trading away for one, and Joey stays alive. But now they have to be worried about the third party here. You see pulling off from that res. They see the knockdown shields as well. The missile storm's going to connect, and teams start a fight coming in for the third party. A defensive bombardment down from Aves. This actually cuts off his own squad, but again, will deny the res. They drop down onto the low as Gilderson gets finished off here. Teams start a fight. Will they be able to pick up more? Crummy is up here by himself right now, and Matt Pickett falls, but they should have the HP here for start a fight to try and win, but oh my goodness, Joey's fighting back. He's brought it down to a 1v1, and it was close, but Crummy now is the recipient of a fourth party here, but it looks like the squad is just playing from range. The triple takes are being used to try and secure the thirst, but the res will come out. Crummy getting Matt Pickett back on his feet. Quick arm swap for him as well, and start a fight will be able to just stabilize here. Now we're down to 15 squads, 45 players remaining as round number 2 is still closing.
That's a tough spot to hold, and Start a Fight do a great job. Notably, it is still early, and that's the reason why we don't see such a heavy collapse for them, albeit it was the third, almost fourth party, so maybe I'm wrong there. Skittle Cakes, though, from Esports Arena with a great call there on that Devotion. A nice mid-range takedown, now looking to go for the full thirst, and able to find it here, making this a 2v3. Rollers on the forward engage there. They get the crack, but it's at the expense of Skittle there. Roller's going to be looking for the full battery, does of course find it there, and as a result, I love this from Duplex coming up on the back. We'll see if he's able to clutch this one out, but the angles are just too hard to play into. As a result, gonna have to run away.
Yeah, Cloud9 show up for the third-party collapse onto them. The fight just taking way too long. So Cloud9 will be the recipients of these kill points and the loot as well. So Ghost finding a very similar fate to what happened to them in game number 2, playing basically this exact same spot where they went down in game number 2. It was just to exit there. This time around, it was a combination, but Cloud9 basically coming out on top. They still have their work cut out for them, but luckily, if this ring should be pulling away back towards that G2 side on the southwest, Cloud9 are playing off that Valk, so they will have that redeploy to use to just go ahead and cut across the map here. They've also picked up this additional loot, which I feel like they sorely needed with how long and how many meds they basically invested into that rotate earlier on over at Geyser.
I'm very interested to see how this zone is looking to finish out and if teams still have access out towards the east and the ridges that are in play there. If that is an opportunity, maybe Cloud9 could find potential rotation out where we saw the game finish off in the second one, where Vizio held on for such a long time. For now, though, a lot of these teams not quite on the rotation, so that leads me to believe that we won't be seeing that one finish out there, and everyone will be having to find their way out just a little bit more west. Finally, though, we get an answer towards the question we asked very, very early on. It's Razor. They're the ones here in this high damage area of control.
Yeah, it's high damage, but it's just low frags, unfortunately, for Team Razor. Yeah, as you can see, it's dank this time around for Team Lazarus. A lot of the squads that end up here in thermal stations are able to pick up those Kravers along the way. I have to imagine, of course, it's that black market boutique that helped them secure that for themselves. Complexity, we're able to pick up a lot of kills with it, and now it's Dank's opportunity. He's already got a gold armor, so I kind of want to see him swap off with Davis or Vize, because this Kraber itself with 2 shots can secure that purple armor. But you know, it's hindsight. It's all about min-maxing here. As X set one of the squads stuck inside the jungle gym's player feed, getting tagged by that thermite, but he will be able to just heal up for now. But Jake finds it. There's the heady onto Klein, taking him down, and the nades are starting to come in. Lazarus looking to get aggressive, but Davis has to be careful. He has been cracked. Now they just need to deny the res and buy some time for Vize and Davis to heal up before they make this push.
Coming through. Rez down there. They have to make this rotation now with the dome out, though. They can't quite get fully in there how they want. As a result, Davis taken out from a back end. Now the rest of the squad's hearing the gunfire, looking to potentially third party this one out. Lazarus, who had such a clean run there with the Kraber, unable to finish this fight off the way they wanted to.
And you see right there why it's so important that at least one person has to be watching, one person has to be able to trade back damage to stop a push. And with the fact that Davis and Vize both had to heal up, take that moment, take the few seconds to hit up that bat, that was the opportunity they needed, Xset, to fight back into this one. And so now they're the ones that are going to be fighting from behind. We'll see if they can maybe get a mobile respawn beacon and sneak in, as Aves is able to finish off Davis Wave and company there. A start of fight will ultimately clean up here on the northern side of the zone.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they were able to hold on here, but notably the zone managed to actually close in and shut off the backside for them, so they're very safe in their current position here. And now with the successful take off the back end of that defensive bombardment, another 3 KP to work with. They haven't quite worked their way into some of those buildings that sit out there towards the west, but they have the Ash, they have this high tempo. If they want to force their way in, they have all the realm to do so. Back towards Renegades, still have not moved. They set themselves up in round 1 and are still finding out that they've got a great control here of this zone. Excedrin, though, maybe trying to push their way in.
Oh boy, they've got to be careful. Kimchi Lee's the first one to fall. It's going to be CLG on the other side of this one. Now left into a 1v3. Never mind, that's 3v0 as CLG will be able to clean that one up. And they do it in the clean take as well. So they don't really have to worry about the third party that could have come in from start of fight that were on that northern ridge. And they also have enough time to start worrying about their rotate in. Team Razor, though, still sitting pretty up top. They've got a knock onto Phony. Fury's gone down as well. And it looks like Vizio might get cleaned up in just a moment. We'll see if they were actually taken out here. We do have 9 squads, 26 players remaining. So it looks like, yeah, Vizio were just knocked out there. So Team Razor not even worrying about rotating here. It signifies that, of course, they're going to be safe as they're just involved in basically all these rotates, getting knocks left and right here. Looked like they missed out on one, unfortunately, throughout that. And it's going to be Renegades moving through, Pow going down.
Yeah, a bit of a shame there. I don't know why they were forced out of the rotation, but it definitely has a lot to do. My apologies with the zone, just catching my eye on that one there. So now they're down the 1 member. They're going to play the jungle gyms out there towards the south. Curious how this zone will play through. Razor, they still have a really nice sense of control on that high ground. For how long it will last is a big question. CLG, they're on the mirrored side here of Renegades. They've got 2 squads below them. I believe that's Lazarus just underneath the squad that almost faced defeat here a moment ago when we saw them not quite able to finish their take with, I believe it was the Kraber.
So right now, Renegades currently as a duo, Lazarus as a duo as well. We have a huge pileup of teams on the northern side, but will this ring end up favoring the north or the south side of basically the chasm here of all the lava? That's basically what's going to decide who ends up winning. We do have a fight taking place on the southern side, and it's going to be G2 once again up here on the high ground, being contested right now. But great shots out from Designful, and that is something we say often when he's got his hands on the wingman right now. G2, they've got 5 kills, and they have one team contesting them up top. If they can get this team fight win, if they can do it quickly enough, they might be able to just secure a win off of this.
And this is almost looking like a mirrored finish from game 2 there. The exact same position that we found G2 in just a moment ago. This time around, we'll see if they get their revenge and actually able to hold on to that location, not falling to some of the teams that set up for themselves there. I'm very curious to see who actually is the responding team who sits on that further northwestern side there. For now, though, it does look like Complexity is still within the game. We just saw them pick up some kills in the feed there, so potentially another Complexity win maybe on its outskirts, but hey, it's C9 down from start of fight.
Yeah, and now start a fight. They have to actually contend with G2 coming in for the third party. You can see G2 were able to steal away some of those kills onto Cloud9, but the fact that they come in for the third party might actually buy some time for Cloud9 to try and get the recovery. G2 are right on top of things, though, making sure that they cannot get him back up, and it looks like Start a Fight will be able to secure that thirst for now. But G2, they've got to be careful. They're getting climbed up by another squad. The team that came in for the third party are getting third party themselves, but it's a good recovery. You can see they're going to go ahead and group up as a full 3-man here with that bubble. Flash coming in. They were able to climb up with that opening, and now they're taking advantage of this, but G2 are still doing a good job of staying alive for the time being until Matt Pickett gets the knock onto Gentrifying. Resulta has fallen, and it's all up to Designful here for G2, and it looks like G2 will not be able to win out in this fight. As Start a Fight come in, they'll be able to get the third party onto Splash now, turning the table onto them, and so it's going to be Team Start a Fight who have control over this southern hill.
I really love the reserved play there from Start a Fight, really taking the time to pull back and give that one over to Splash and then take advantage of the damage ensued there from that initial fight. As a result, they pull the win off there and now have complete control of the area over Fissure. Complexity not as lucky this time around here. They might find some knocks, but they're pressured into a corner. Start a Fight, maybe they're looking to finish this one out. The Ash Portal deep here to shred through and find themselves to their victory in game 3.
And that's what we were talking about, the winner of that southern fight. Whoever gets that high ground to the south ends up winning it out. That was Team Start a Fight. We're able to take out G2 ultimately in the end there, and so slowing them down just a bit, but let's remember, that's another top finish for Team Complexity, securing themselves a top 2 along with some kill points. And so they should be able to maintain the lead going into the second half, which, by the way, we're going to be taking a halftime break. And when we get back, we'll have game number 4 after this.
Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true style trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Hit the bars of the breaks. I'm talking one chance that was so good for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Etc. I'm fading!
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
Make some sweet, but without sugar, 0 calorie treat. They're all our top fresh flavored splash.
It's fruit freshen.
We're gonna do it in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. SAF close out the first half with a win there in game number 3. Well played from that squad. Obviously, they got late into the game in game number 2, and they finally are able to succeed here in game number 3. Let's check out our third player of the game for the day here. We'll bring that one up for you folks at home and check that one out. And it's going to go to Aves. Quite a few familiar names on this SAF squad, and that's 7 kills, 4 assists, and over 1,700 damage for Aves. One of the best slayers from Season 2 of Series E, playing for Team Applejacks back then, and is making a strong return here to Series E Pro Night with the SAF squad. Well played from them. We'll have to see what kind of damage they did on the leaderboard and how things may shake out in the back half of today's games. Remember, we still have 3 more ahead of us here. We are going to go to a quick break. Do want to remind you guys, if you want to grab some Esports Arena merch, you can over at shop.esportsarena.com. And if you use promo code SEASON4, you can get a discount on that order. So make sure to use that. That's season with the number 4 at the end at shop.esportsarena.com. We're going to a quick break. When we come back, Jamerson and Zephyr will get you ready for the second half of the day. Don't go anywhere.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. This is Pro Night of Season 4 in our new year, 2022. And Start a Fight ended up taking the win in game number 3 just before we hit the half, and it was a big win for them as they did find themselves on the good half of the leaderboard. We'll find out, though, how many points they were able to pick up, but it looked like they were able to get themselves involved in a lot of fights throughout that last game.
Right, and if you remember back from our first 2 games, they held off well in game 1 at Climatizer, and then game 2, we had Matt Pickett wrap that one out to find themselves a second place position, albeit not really picking up that many kills here. So as we make our way, hopefully in a little moment here towards our Mobile 1 leaderboard, we'll see if they're able to contest against what was such an incredible performance from game 2.
Yeah, it was like a 35-point game or something for Complexity in game number 2, but oh my goodness, now they put themselves much higher up on the board. I mean, it's still first place, but that lead is getting cut into just a bit. Team Start a Fight with that win in game number 3 now will cut that lead that Complexity had up against the rest of the lobby down to about 8 points. So not as comfortable of a lead for Team Complexity, but still relatively really great night with 3 decent games in a row. Game number 2 and game number 1 being really good for them. But Team Start a Fight, will they be able to steal away this first place position from Complexity? For Renegades, though, it's the slow climb for them. They were able to take the win in game number 1, but got slowed down, still find themselves on the top of the leaderboard, currently now in 3rd place with G2 behind them. It's C9 that are slowly starting to lag behind everyone else. But let's go ahead and take a look at the Mobile 1 high performance moment of game number 3. And it is going to be at the beginning, and this was just G2 just exerting their knowledge of the map, knowing that they could nade spam this squad, which was Team Liquid, I believe. And they might have used all of their nades for this, but hey, 3 points is 3 points.
You know what? It's worth it there. And if you got to pick up the KP, any way works here at Apex Legends there. So an excellent display of the skill. And as you said there in that game, the complete mastery they have of this region exclusively here. We see G2, C9, and a lot of other familiar names still relatively high among that leaderboard. Following them, not far behind, is still Team Vizio. And as we brought up, you don't usually see that transference of, the level of play from our open to the pro. So the fact that they're still within the top 10 is very surprising, but welcomed at be it.
A really nice sign for me for G2 here is just the fact that in the past, these thermal station zones ended up punishing G2 more than anything else, but it looks like they've got a better feel of how to really play out these spots dependent upon what ring is indicated with these pulls. In the past, they'll end up maybe not getting any kill points at all, but here they have been able to convert upon these thermal station endings well. They haven't gotten a win, but they get really good points on the board. But here we go, heading into the second half of the evening. It's going to be game number 4. So let's go ahead and join on board with our winners from game number 3, Team Start a Fight. This has also been a very consistent evening for them so far.
Right. We have seen them pick up a relative decent amount of points in games 1 and 2, but finally something to push them forward among the rest in their win through that 3rd game. Thankfully, with this zone here pulling further and out towards the west, it's not quite south, but it definitely does look a little bit closer than I would like. It's going to be in that landslide and staging area exclusively here. If it pulls towards staging, you get quite of a wash of how these teams play, but if it goes towards landslide, very hard to work with, not very defensible. For now, though, Intel, another fight to behold here, back at it again with TBA.
It's going to be the constant 50-50 between these two squads once again, but this time around it's Intel who have the priority. They were able to pick up some early armors and push forward. Petty Boss now is going to bubble forward up against this last member, it seems, as he slides on in. There's a purple armor on the other side, but he made short work of that one, and now there's just one player remaining here, and all they need is the melees. They'll be able to finish off Davis Wave. It's actually Cody coming in with the P2020 to finish them off, and I just love that just whatever, regardless of the situation, whatever happens in these fights, Cody's always having a good time.
Yeah, you can see Cody smiling there on that cam, just taking what you can garner from a fight that starts off in the first 50 seconds of the game. Once again, though, now Intel, they are successful this time around. They pick up this win. We'll see how them are actually able to carry this one forward into their games, because they haven't really been picking up many points to work with in comparison to some of our other sponsored teams here at the Esports Arena, notably one that's had a great night. Vizio here, just on the outskirts of Harvester, but not looking too healthy.
Yeah, coming from that landslide spot, it's surprising that they end up taking this position coming down over towards the Harvester side now, as they do have, it looks like it's team basically pinned down below them. Phony trying to find himself an angle, but he's going to have to go for that Kaizo reset essentially on this platformer here, and now they've kind of lost the ability to really fight for this anymore, but hey, they are making their way across right now. It looks like maybe they're just trying to cut teams off from getting over towards that hot spring side, or maybe they expect this ring to be pulling down here even further. We'll find out in just a moment.
Well, for now here, they're going to play Gatekeeper against the team that we see out here from Harvester, as you do bring up, but it's so early on. You still have many angles to play into for this zone. You don't have to go up and directly match through Vizio here. And I'll tell you what, they know this area. They usually tend to drop out by staging when we talk about our open, and tonight we've been seeing a little bit of a difference regarding that, but still, as they work their way into it, it's not completely clear. They've got a squad just below them, and as a result, they do have to hold up here.
Yeah, the big question is, are they comfortable putting themselves in this position? Because knowing that the ring is going to be pulling a bit to the north here, they do put themselves in line for the G2 rotate, and G2 like to prowl around this spot. They like to try and find some fights around this respawn beacon building, and so now that's it leaves me a bit worried for Team Vizio that, you know, they might find themselves in the crosshair of G2, but we'll find out. It's still the early points of this game. They can still move around if they want to. They're going to take a quick moment to hit that black market boutique, because Fury is still sitting on that white armor for himself, but ooh, Scissors gets cracked. But we have a fight taking place over here at Lava Siphon. It's going to be Team Nerf now, actually competing up against another squad on the other side. It's going to be Lazarus that actually rotated through here. Dank getting finished off.
Yeah, we just saw a little bit of a mixed fight there, and Lazarus was picked off not just by Nerf. It might be this squad that we see currently. It's Ghost trying to come up with a quick third party. They had no clue, though, that Nerf was as healthy as they were. Didn't take nearly anything from that recent fight. You see that Thermite thrown from afar. They're going to be ticking down, but definitely not going to be putting Nerf at that much of a back foot here in the Lava Siphon area.
So teams start a fight. The winners from our last game ended up going down early on. It's the Pittsburgh Knights over here at Landslide that find themselves in a small fight currently, and looks like it's just a lot of jockeying for position as they end up securing that thirst on to a Noble member. That's going to be Impulse going down. Xset were in the area as well. The Pittsburgh Knights not going to overextend into this one. I'll be happy to just be able to play off of this train tunnel here, being able to utilize that Black Market Boutique to get even more loot from this spot and not have to overextend for those death boxes.
Oh, maybe they spotted out Xset here coming out from underneath, potentially didn't want to match up directly into Noble in the mix there, so leaving it up to that fight and potentially weighing a third party. Notably, the zone hasn't closed in just yet, so I would expect them to sit tunnel and try to gatekeep it, because as I brought up earlier on, Landslide is super difficult to play. It's one of the least defensible areas, and it is one of the major points of this zone here, so the more you can avoid it, the better, in my opinion. Sadly, the zone might actually be finishing out there, so they may not have a choice.
Yeah, for Team Esports Arena, they're going to prowl around on the eastern side of the map, and so they're going for their patented later rotate right now, as it looks like Xset might be finishing off Team Noble, Rakanishu getting finished off at the very least by Team Xset there. We're already down to 17 squads, so the pace of game number 4 already so much faster than what we saw in the first half of the evening, while Renegades, I believe they've already got a few kills already to their name right now. They're playing that middle zone in between staging and Landslide right now, leaving open the options to rotate to the north or to the south, and it looks like this is where their fight took place.
Right, they themselves took out what looks to be start a fight. So one of our more notable teams contesting there in second position no longer in play. Anyone who is paying attention to that kill feed now knows there's a whole lot of points up on the board here for grabs if you want to steal that placement away here coming out of game 4. For now, though, Cloud9, they also a little bit later here towards the end, still trying to play this one edge out on Fragment. And they've got time. They still have plenty of areas to work through if they want to find their way in towards that landslide area. But remember, it is particularly dangerous, and we know the tunnel is already being blocked off right now.
Yeah, the nice thing for them, they've been able to just commit to the edge and utilize the replicators and the free loot along the way. But the fact that they, of course, have Naughty on the Bloodhound. So for a lot of these rotates, it's not a blind rotate in for them, right? They just go ahead and throw down that Bloodhound scan, and they'll be able to catch out any teams that might be trying to lurk on them. Here's G2. Haven't poked out their head that far from basically their drop zone over at Thermal Station. They're only over here at Springs End, and I'm surprised. I thought they might rotate over towards where we saw Vizio earlier on, closer towards that Harvester area, but for now, G2, they've gotten 3 good games in a row, and so they're trying to maintain that consistency. They're not being overtly aggressive here, as we're on board with Panders, who is nervously watching on as Team Nerf are somehow completely unaware that he's here.
Wow, our Tomcat Mouse here, just quiet enough to go unnoticed. He's praying no one comes down those stairs because it would be just over for him. So successfully going to last here, but for how long, especially with zone closing in soon, it's not going to be easy to find his way out of Siphon.
I thought Messiah might have seen him through the window, quite possibly. And now Panders is just hoping, oh no, Turns is making another rotation patrol. He doesn't spot him out quite yet. He just sets up a barrel. Turns! What is going on?
Live up to your name! Turn!
Oh my goodness. All right, Panders somehow. Not a big white and black bear? What are pandas, by the way? Like, what is their file? I don't really know.
The phylum? I have no clue. I'm no scientist, I'll tell you what.
Well, he's definitely a rat and a master one at that, but for how long? As Turns again just narrowly misses him, taking that gondola. There's another squad here still over at Lava Siphon. That's going to be Team Esports Arena starting to work their way on in. Last time we saw them, they were over at Geyser, and now they have an opportunity. Maybe they actually catch out that Tomcat rat.
Well, for now, they're going to have to take this fight first and foremost, and we get a little sightline on it as they move just by here. But back to G2, they were holding out here in the west, and it's going to be a double defensive bombardment down. Hopefully give some time for some help to find its way back towards Gentier, but hey, they're putting out some serious damage towards Vizio, and they're going to have to rotate out.
Yeah, it finally happens. Vizio actually rotate into G2 this time around, but they will be able to back off. It looks like enough space was created with the bubbles, with the defensive bombardment. So Team Vizio stay alive for the time being, and they're going to try and create some distance between themselves and G2, but it looks like they might actually just be stuck here. Another team on the low ground hitting those shots, but good turnaround as Scissors will fall. Gentrifying picks that up with the 301. They don't have a bubble for another 17 seconds. No quick res will be available for them. Some G2 know that, and they try to chase them down. They'll just be able to secure this thirst as Excedrin get involved in this one, and it's going to be Kimchi Lee taking out Phony. We'll see, though. Maybe Phony can get rezzed up, but it looks like Team Vizio are basically on their last legs.
I think they might be particularly split there. We saw them kind of scurry away from the rush of G2, and as a result, I don't know how well they're going to be able to put themselves back together, especially since we now have the notion that Excedrin also clearly in the area looking to punish. They might be the team that we see just across the way holding off the building here and staging, which is right now a really great spot to have under your belt, given that the zone is pushing up further past into this space particularly.
And the only saving grace for that team on the low ground right now is never mind. Designful accidentally drops down, so he is committed onto this. He does have the phase breach to get right back up, and that's what he will do as he gets cracked just before. Results of holding on to the bubble for right now. So just good discipline coming out from the G2 members. Designful, a little bit of a close call there, but he will be safe for now. But it does seem like they do have to worry about their back. Another team was starting to creep up behind them. So I like this discipline once again coming out from G2. G2, not overextending. They're not going to give up what is essentially the god spot for this ring.
No, absolutely, especially if you play a little bit further up towards some of these hanging objects here. I believe the boxes that do provide, that could be a really nice angle to work with towards some of these squads that end up being lower here in the staging area. So we'll see what G2 does. They're already situated very nicely here on the tracks, and with the zone finally kind of closing in there, they know what is beneath them here in the south is very clear, so they have a realm of safety. The only thing they've got to worry about is those houses out towards the west. You can have a lot of teams kind of slip around through the backside and come out against you if you're not too careful. But yes, we are confirmed. Excedrin, they're the team that holds the central position here in staging. And it can be a really, really good one, but it's very hard to defend because almost everyone is going to be coming into this area now.
Right now, though, they've got some great presence as a full three-man. Ooh, get connected by that nade out from Kimchi Lee. You got the knock onto Dracos, and they've got him split up as well. Cruisin wants to take advantage of this knock, and he's trying to find an opening here. Another nade in, and it's going to be Kimchi Lee getting the re-knock onto Dracos once more. Now, the Nox gas grenade is going to be used on the other side of this one just to try and buy some time, but Dracos gets thirsted off, and now Excedrin, you gotta be careful not to just overextend onto this one. We know that G2's up top, but never mind. G2 are in a fight with Esports Arena right now. Duplex getting the knock onto Gentrifying, but there it is, the thirst onto Phoenix. So they're gonna be down to just the one man as Team Esports Arena were the ones that ended up pushing out onto G2, cleaning them up.
This is exactly what we just talked about. If you don't pay attention to that backside, you're going to have a team easily slip within there and take advantage of you. As a result, Esports Arena, they rotate down from their earlier position here and take that one quite nicely. Knights, though, a little bit late to the party, finally finding their way out of the train tunnel here. This can be really dangerous. You've already got a lot of squads set up here in launch site, being the gatekeeper towards most of the more notable high real estate areas that exist in staging here. So we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, we'll see if it's Exet that's still playing inside the tunnel underneath them. And I feel like they might have just been like trading black market boutiques, stealing from each other throughout all this. Asura does set himself up an angle with that bracelet to get across, but here's Team Liquid now trying to push out. I have to imagine this is going to be Esports Arena on the other side. The push out from Nocturnal. Never mind, it's Lazarus Z. Davis who's trying to rat this one out. He gets cleaned up as Flanker picks up that kill for them. Team Liquid, it's been a rough evening so far for them. This is ending up being one of their better games, especially after what happened in game number 3. We saw them there in the high performance moment. Panders is still alive!
He's alive! Our Tomcat rats haven't quite sniffed out this mouse, and as a result, Panders surprisingly safe here on the southern end of staging. We'll see how long he lasts, because I know there's plenty of teams who will be able to potentially find him. Though C9 here, they're on the opposite end of this bargain, all the way north here towards the north, already being forced to drop down the dome in response. I do be taking incredibly low on the crack there, but the follow through from Zach Mazer might be enough to wipe out the remaining members of what is Complexity here. Now only one up. It's one quick take and a rotation around the back here. Zach, yeah, they find it.
Yeah, they have to be worried, though, as CLG are also in the area. They were able to get the knock onto Mamba beforehand, but the res was there. Fearing Live coming in. Never mind, multiple squads here as Zach Mazer narrowly makes it into that caravan to survive. That'll be the reset for them as he's able to hit that bat and hop right back on out. And now it's the full 3-man of Cloud9 pushing out. Zach Mazer finding a nice angle here on the left-hand side, and they will be able to get that knock onto Dreza. That's going to be Razor losing out on one more, but Zach is forced back once again. So Cloud9, they are disciplined in this push. They are not overextending. They're going for the resets. As they are in the top 4 right now. They need to make sure that they have really good finishes once more. So Team Razor are afforded this opportunity to go for that reset themselves.
Well, we'll see how long that lasts for them. Esports Arena here, they make the rotation down from the building they were just holding. Skittle looking low. They're going to give him some time to find that Phoenix kit, but more notably, they push out who was ever in this spot for a god spot, right? They now have control of this verticality, and as you just ooh and ah there, they pick up a golden backpack to work with for these further fights. One thing I do want to point out, though, in that kill feed there, it was X set. They were still holding that tunnel, and Knights were able to pick off and bring us down to 12 squads remaining. Now they'll look to make it 11.
It's a 1-for-1 exchange, though, as Team Intel lose out on Cody, but there it is. Petty Boss gets finished off. It's going to be the Pittsburgh Knights picking up the +3. Another third party might be coming in, and it sure is here as Gildersons has to be careful. Thought Joey was the enemy for a second there, and you can see why there was someone creeping up. Now Team Razor's Drez is showing up, and you can see the fight that's still left in the Knights, but it's just not enough. It was such a close fight for them. As you can see, Team Razor are able to recover. Fearing Live is going to be able to hit that bat for himself and get the armor swaps and get the reses just in time as well. Ring is closing in, but it should be closing just on top of them as Esports Arena are making another push out now. Just up to the north on the train tracks here. The defensive bombardment have been used along with the bubbles now. And you can see Duplex is setting up those barrels to make this entry, but they have to be careful about the other barrels coming in, slowing them down just a little bit. But Esports Arena now, they're the ones forced inside the truck themselves, surprisingly. But it looks like they'll be able to buy some time. They should make a push out in just a moment.
And even if they don't, they have that caustic to work with now and set up the barrel, and this can be a little bit more defensible for the composition that they have drafted coming into this game here, albeit they still got to worry about what is right above them there. A constant stream of ordnance pulled through. Skittlecake's already on his rotation out. Dome down. Duplex trying to find a rip with the R301, switching to that Peacekeeper to blast it through. Back outside he goes, but there's nothing to behold, and as a result, Skittle is down and out for the count, but as he finds his way up against the cart, they take two. That's going to be Renegades, and now Duplex, the one remaining member. We'll see if Rollers can get inside, but I don't think so.
Pre-pops the barrels at the very least, which allows him an escape, and he gets out for now. But like I said, it's just for now. We still have two rats alive, and I think that might be Panders underneath him. Team Razor still fighting on top of the bridge here, but there's still a lot of nades left in this game right now, and they're forced back. You can see that missile swarm keeping them at bay as more nades come in. Team Razor have to be careful here. As you can see, their back is exposed as well, and now they find themselves sandwiched by multiple squads. But they're given a moment to just reset. The nades are still coming in. Team Razor somehow still alive, but for how long?
Just barely. That's what we're seeing here. That's going to be it for Dreza. Bursty to follow. Now Fearing Live here has to throw down that dome, see if he can get any kind of revive out, but Vizio, they want to make sure that this is it for this squad. I love this, though. They're quick to cover all of their angles. They've given up their position. They know it's only one member remaining, so Fury is quick to attribute towards that low ground and make sure that no one comes up from behind as they clean that one up.
Yeah, we've got 7 squads left here as it looks like more people are going down. That's going to be Turs going down. And that's all of the rats cleaned up from this engagement, ultimately. And now we're down to 4 full squads remaining. Team Vizio, we got Cloud9. We're able to survive the scramble as well. And who are the other 2 squads we got left? We got Team Excedrin stuck here on the low ground and Team Liquid. Those are our final 4 squads, but Excedrin are in one of the toughest spots. They're stuck on the low ground here. They're just going to have to be left hoping that all 3 teams end up fighting, giving them a moment to try and maybe climb up to get involved in this.
Ooh, C9. Looking for rotation in, maybe to try to pull this spot away from Team Liquid. They know they have to make a rotation now because if they wait too long, they're going to be caught in the crossfire with Excedrin climbing up as well. And I got to tell you, this is Team Vizio's game to lose. Look at how much area they control of that zone. Everyone here has to play into them. C9, though, I like that. Doing a great job covering all the angles. It's going to be Mazer making sure that they don't get that clean of a win.
Yeah, we were wondering why Team Vizio still had so many nades to expend on Team Razor there. on that last fight. It was because they've got that Loba. They're able to utilize that black market boutique to have that extra utility, and they still have one Thermite at least in the hands of Fury here. And so that could be the difference in these fights, having that extra utility, having the extra nades as they start pushing up. Cloud9 are forced into Team Liquid right now, and this is a beautiful job of control coming out from Vizio. They're going to force out the bubble early from Cloud9, and now Cloud9 have to be worried about defensive bombardment, about the knocked gas grenades, and here comes a defensive bombardment just on the edge of this fight.
Ooh, dome thrown out in response there from Vizio, but Cloud9 looking very optimal here as Fury is pulled out far too low. Going to be able to get the full bat off in response, but quickly Chimchi to follow, coming up from the low ground. Phony is dropped down, but the rest of these squads now looking to collapse on this third party. As a result, there's no Excedrin here. Cloud9 still alive, but Team Liquid maybe looking to make this one back up as they come out from their carts finally and take the victory in Game 4.
Ooh, good patience coming out from Team Liquid there, but I also love what Cloud9 did. They understood they were basically at a disadvantage when it came to taking a full 3v3 up against Liquid. Instead, they turn around onto that fight between Excedrin and Vizio to pick up whatever kills they can. They secured themselves second place and a good amount of kill points as well. So I love that thought process coming out from Cloud9, but it was Team Liquid who ultimately walked away with the win. So congratulations to them for taking game number 4. That means we are going to be taking a short break, and when we get back, we'll have game number 5 after this.
Welcome back, everyone. Team Liquid with a victory there in game number 4, playing out expertly that late circle. We got some nice overhead views there at the end of the action, and Liquid is the one that comes out on top, so well done from them. Let's check out our 4th player of the game here for today as we keep things rolling. Just 2 more games ahead of us, in the race is going to be tight at the top of that Mobile One leaderboard. But Fun is going to grab player of the game honors for game number 4 here. Not the big kind of numbers we saw from earlier. Of course, we could talk all night about Reptar's 16 kill game, but 3 kills and an assist from Fun in this one, and over 1,500 damage on the Gibraltar gets Team Liquid over the finish line and grabs them a victory. Now they'll jump into the hunt for a top 2 placing here, and it makes things very interesting. We have no repeat winners through 4 games so far, and I think it's going to set up for what will be a very exciting run through these final 2 games. Nothing has been answered just yet on how things will shake out on that leaderboard at the end of the night, and honestly, I'm all about it. I do love seeing all those big Vizio crushing victories on Tuesday nights, but it's certainly a lot more interesting when we don't have a winner set in stone after 4 games. So that does it for game number 4. We get ready for game number 5 now. We are going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, Zephyr and Jamerson will check out the Mobile One high performance moment from game 4 and get you ready for the last 2 of the day. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Eat, Speak, Compete.
Eat, speak, compete. Yes. Name, incredible. Logo, even better.
And I'm your host, as always, Yeso, joined by my co-host, Luke Shimone Brew.
There's a lot to unpack there. I don't even know where to start.
If one of the North American teams doesn't win, their 2021 season is done. I got my fingers crossed. I think you got this. Let's turn more towards the competitive side. They finished strong.
They were like 35-2.
They finished strong. They
If the only intent is, hey, let's make this game as esports as possible, then sure, but that's never going to be what Nintendo does.
And I'm very curious to see what kind of their first take on what a Valorant World Championship should look like.
Dang. That's super fun sounding.
Yeah, I think it's going to go.
That sounds super fun. I think that, like,
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. Just before the break, we had Team Liquid taking the win in game number 4. So what does that mean for Liquid? After 3 games of not the best performances so far for them, or not the best results at the very least, that will be a nice boon. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Mobile One leaderboard to see where they stand with that W from game number 4. And it looks like that only puts them into the top 8 currently, tied with CLG for 26 points. So they still have their work cut out for them, but they have 2 games left to go here to try and make up that ground, Zephyr.
Right. And notably, we still do see some similarities here on this leaderboard. Complexity is leading, but as we have now gotten the opportunity to look at a much shorter disparity here in that gap between first and second, now only being about 8 points away from surpassing C9. We talk about their successful rotation in there, the little kill participation they picked up, albeit going out there before the victory. It garnered them some points to work with them and pushed them past start a fight. Past that, Renegade still holding on, but notably Vizio shooting up here now within the top 5. This is a team we've been looking at all night long, and they continue to improve and hold on to the lead.
Yeah, importantly, Complexity and Start a Fight. I believe they both Complexity only picked up 1 point from that last game, and Start a Fight ended up going down without picking up any at all. So that's allowing a lot of our middle of the pack teams now to start to catch up. Let's go ahead and check in with the Mobile One high performance moment of game number 4, though, as we had this last fight taking place. Team Excedrin, they try to push onto Team Vizio here. Ultimately, though, it was Cloud9 that came in for the third party.
Right, Cloud9 comes up quick behind this one to clean up from the engagement between Vizio and Excedrin, but it's the pacing here from Team Liquid that we should really look at. The fact that they held off, just waited for this one to assume full control, and then they rushed in to take it. And it's interesting because compared to those 3 other teams, they were kind of right in the mix.
Yeah, I feel like this was still a really good call from coming out from Cloud9, right? Because they were kind of desperate to pick up some more points here. And I feel like they picked up more points by securing these kills than trying to get first place, right? Not being involved in this fight at all, missing out on all these kill points. I think it was actually a better net gain for them than waiting things out and hoping to get first place up against Team Liquid. So I think this was the right call for them to make. And I love that, you know, we're able to see this kind of depth of decision-making that comes out from our squads. But it looks like we have game number 5 set. So let's go ahead, head back in to World's Edge for game number 5. We have 2 games left to go. No clear leader here, even though Complexity hold about a 7-point lead up against the rest of the lobby. We have a lot of the teams in the middle of the pack looking now to try and steal that position away. Let's join on board with Team Liquid, our winners from game number 4.
And starting far north here, we'll see how long they last this time around. Haven't really had the best of opportunities tonight, but hopefully that last game gives the momentum to carry this one forward here. And I gotta say, this is one of the rougher segments of our Apex tournament. You get into games 5 and 6, and teams are fighting for those last remaining points that are out there to push themselves up on that leaderboard. Our zone, though, going to be pulling back towards the north again. Apparently, we have broken the curse, and albeit it's not completely as far north as Survey and Climatizer, but right in the middle here of just about everything. Not many points of interest to play around.
Yeah, the big ones that we're looking at are basically that respawn beacon platform is smack dab in the middle of that second ring, along with what would have been the beacon building just to the west of that position as well. Those are going to be the two spots that are going to be hotly contested, I believe, throughout the mid game. For now, Team Liquid could have priority to try and rotate there early on, or maybe they actually take the time to hit up the loot over, of course, by trials first, because they'll have that early rotate eventually as well. Team Complexity, though, is going to probably have the highest priority to move in, but with their armor situation, they might want to maybe fight on the edges here. They've got Monsoon and Reptar still sitting on the white armors. They're over here at Epicenter. They're creeping up on Cloud9, so they've got to be careful about how they loot this.
Right, because it's not completely within their control. Granted, they've got a lot of spacing to work with here, so we'll hopefully see them find their way into some of those areas we discussed just a moment ago here. They were stunted very early on in our Game 4 here, so maybe looking to reprieve, get some better points going into Games 5, and continue to extend the gap that they have built for themselves in first place.
It was 3 really consistent games, along with that big headliner game in game number 2 that allowed them to lead. But now they need to try and bounce back. They need to find that same kind of momentum to finish off strong here. We have 3 or 4 teams really within reach of Complexity, so it's not a guaranteed win for them. They still have to play immaculately here in the last 2 games. But finally, with a minute left to go before the zone starts closing, it looks like they are looking for their spot. And they're going to be playing this one on basically the high ground, north of Fragment, east and west here, as they're catching the teams on the rotate. The Valkyrie redeploy is starting to be used now.
I gotta say, this is maybe a little early for this position. They do have to still be very respectful for their backside. There's a lot of teams that could potentially come up creeping behind them in Epicenter, but for anyone who's rotating up through Fragment, trying to play into some of those high real estate areas, it's a great area of control given the sight lines it provides. For now, though, we look at Intel. They've managed to survive this time around, not quite going down early. This is a team that's really been stunted here, and when we talk about not being able to transfer open success, I feel like Intel is one of the mainstays of that topic, especially.
Ooh, CLG. They go into the building that I was talking about before. This is that beacon building that a lot of teams are going to try and prioritize, and CLG, one of them, but find themselves in an early engagement fighting over it. They forced out a bubble on the CLG side. Now they have to be careful about basically the tables being turned on them. They're fighting up against the Caustic squad. So if Phoenix can sneak in some barrels, there's an opportunity, despite having the armor difference, that Splash could win this fight. But I like the idea of just backing off instead, because you don't know when a third party can come in and blight. Turns the corner and surprisingly takes no damage for that.
Yeah, that was a very risky movement there. Could have easily been collapsed upon there, and wasn't even really able to make anything work with the Thermate kind of trying to play that one out. As a result, Splash back in this building here, which is the optimal move for this team right now. They've got the barrels to work with. It's not going to be any easy kind of fight if anybody tries to work their way through this one. So for now, they're just going to temper their ambitions, I'd say.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. I mean, I'm just looking at the kill feed, and Fury with a bow check bow. We hardly see any use coming out from the bow check, but he was able to secure the kill and the thirst on the Clarify. Looks like multiple squads are currently picking apart Xset right now as Meat goes down as well. Vizio holding that other position that I was talking about. A lot of teams are going to try and prioritize this respawn platform as Team Intel finally getting into this fight up against TBA right now. Stomps goes down next, and they're just trading kills so far as Petty Boss goes down next. Mooney pulls out the Prowler finally to get the kill onto Davis, but it's just a knock. Unfortunately, has to back off. It's a 1v1, but Sung has the armor swap, and now he should have the HP advantage up against him. When will he push out?
I was about to say, I'd love to see him make that move, but what he's going to do, throw down these barrels, try to pull some defensive action so he can get the revive up here and make it a 2v1, which is obviously going to be the most optimal play here for this squad. But in response, it gives the opportunity to bring this one back to a 2v2. But with that drop, Sung quick to find several headshots to bring that health down. And now following through here, doesn't quite get the knock, but only a few health ticks away there onto Cody. Davis just as successful as they wipe out Intel.
Yeah, that was a little bit scary because you saw the bat actually getting finished off on the other side for Cody. Unfortunately, he just ended up getting one clipped there at the end. So TBA will basically went out on this extended 50-50 between them and Team Intel. So I think it's really gone 50-50 so far tonight. Even though this is game number 5, I don't think there might have been one game where one team disengaged and we didn't see a full fight.
Yeah.
So for right now, TBA end up out on top of this one. They've got the purple armors as well. And luckily for them, surprisingly enough, no third parties came in. I was expecting something like, Team Esports Arena showing up a little bit late here on their late rotate to try and take advantage, but that did not happen.
No, but speaking of late rotations, we don't see Team Liquid get right into the midst of that zone. They're still playing the eastern side of Skyhook here, so they're notably more than likely going to be working through some of the train tracks and the carts that exist there in those tunnels just out towards the east here. I don't think we'll be seeing any heavy rotation from Nocturnal with that Valkyrie, as there's still a realm to play with as far north here. But I will say you can be very easily gate kept if you're not careful. You'll be forced out and you're back against the wall with that zone closing off many of the other options to find your way out of those tracks.
Yeah, the big question is there a chance that the ring ends up pulling up towards the Skyhook tunnel? And so if it does, then Team Liquid have that opportunity to try and play for that if it is actually free. With the amount of teams that are actually already in position at the respawn building, at the train platform, I feel like that might actually be free for them. And so they can continue to play the edge right there. I think the deciding factor is going to be whether or not Complexity ended up moving over there. It's going to be Team Esports Arena finally showing up here, up against TBA, who we know they were able to get their third player back on in. They had purple armors on the other side of the exchange as well. Esports Arena got them pinned down right now. Skittle Case got some decent damage off, and they've got them backed up into a corner right now. Duplex throwing that Nox gas grenade, forcing them up. They're about to get a knock soon. It's actually Cloud9 on the other side of this fight.
Cloud9 here, though, quick to respond, but the follow-up isn't as clean. As a result, that's going to be it for this roster, which is something you really don't want to be seeing right now. Remember, they're sitting second place. To go out at 19th with nothing to accumulate gives a lot of opportunity for those middle board teams to find their way up. You can see Fury smiling. He's hopefully happy about that one.
Hey, he's got a black market boutique, and he is continuing to use the boat check bow. That's
He's
something.
Good
but
with
you can
it. We saw it last night.
Yeah, he got the kill as well earlier on in this game, but you can see how that Loba just kind of translates into armor itself, right? You pick up extra loot, you pick up extra ammo, and that ammo ends up converting into armor for yourself, and he has been able to do that. We saw them with double whites earlier. They're already sitting on triple blues. But here's another fight taking place over at Countdown right now, as it looks like Nerf got into a fight with G2, or at least got a knock from long range up against G2. So they're just holding down on construction for the time being. Resulta gets thirsted off by Team Razor. Or, yeah, it is going to be Team Razor. So G2 are now out.
very early on there, and especially with that kind of mid to long range positioning, I'm surprised that they were able to clean that one up. I believe there was a second team that assisted in procuring some of that damage there. Excedrin, we're back now towards Countdown. They themselves not on the easiest of rotations, still having to work through the teams that sit ahead of them here. Getting some nice damage out, but not enough to go for the full push. Out there, though, in that kill feed, you do see Knights maybe getting the full thirst there onto Lazarus.
Yeah, the big thing for me for Excedrin here is that they know that G2 are out, so they don't have to worry about their backup G2 late rotating into them, but it's going to be Team Nerf taking out the Pittsburgh Knights. They're playing in the middle of Fragment right now, and that's a beautiful pickup for them. That's going to be the +3, and clearing out the Market Squad, making it a little bit easier for them to traverse through Fragment right now. That's going to be one less team that they have to worry about, as this ring should be continuing to pull up to the northern side. You can see a lot of fighting taking place. Ghosts getting themselves involved in another fight up against Fearing, who ended up getting thirsted off throughout all of this. Nerf, though, will be able to secure all this loot for themselves. Round 2 closing up. We're down to basically 15 full squads. One squad currently playing this one out as a duo, and I have to imagine it's because Fearing Live ended up getting thirsted there.
Right, and I gotta say, this is what we talk about when we look at rounds 5 and 6. You get a lot more aggression because teams are trying to shore up as many points as they can. This is a perfect example of it. We're only at round 2 closing, and we're already down to 15 here. Mad respect towards Nerf, though. They were quick to follow up on the take from Knights, clearing out Lazarus, so very well-timed third party, especially since you already see the 4th potentially coming up from behind here. Messiah taken incredibly low, gonna have to find some level of respite to get that battery off, but the follow through here as the Gibby drops down the dome with the Peacekeeper to get the knock. It's Esports Arena coming up from the south, making this a 3v2.
Now, if they can buy time with these barrels, there might be a world where they can fight back for this. You can see the teams are still in the area, but Duplex is setting himself a wide angle here on the right-hand side, but you can see Esports Arena are not overextending for this one. Despite having the mad advantage, they know that they can also be at the mercy of a third party. Ultimately, though, Nerf do go down as start a fight show up for this one. Crummy ends up going down. The nades are coming in. Esports Arena have been able to recover, but here comes a defensive bombardment as well. Does Rollers have a barrel for them? It looks, excuse me, not a barrel, a bubble for them, and they do. They're going to go ahead and use this redeploy to get out of danger. I love this decision coming out from Esports Arena.
That was such a well-timed use of the Valkyrie, and I gotta tell you, he must have been so close to not having that done. We just saw them use it in their initial take to start off that engagement, and surprisingly, they're out in an area that is non-contested. No one from the chokes are currently holding here. We saw teams like Excedrin play out here, so we'll see how long this one lasts, but it gives Esports the arena to get a very nice lay of the land before they assume position on any one of these buildings. I'm curious, though, how the rotation will fare given how open it is right in front of them. For now, though, Razor, this is who's on the opposite end of that hillside, and they're going to use the ultimate to find their way onto the tower, maybe become the gatekeepers here, but they still got to make their way past through the valley.
Yeah, they have 50 seconds to go before this zone starts closing in. They've got a team to their back. They have a team playing the choke as well. So the best option for them, as long as Bursty has that redeploy for them, they should be relatively safe to get out of here. You can see that they spot out a black market boutique being used inside the ring right now. And they might take a moment to try and gatekeep here. But again, they have to be concerned with rotating in. They're getting shot from the choke. They know that a team's over there. Does Bursty have his ultimate? And the fact that they're not trying to go for it right now might be indicating that they don't.
I'd be curious to see, because the longer they wait this one out, especially with ring closing, you're going to get a surge of teams coming in from all the other areas out here towards the east, I assume. And as a result, many positions that you would like to find that ultimate into or find nice rotations will no longer be available there. But with the Loba kind of giving a sign of weakness outside of that ring, they're maybe going to hold on, see what KP they can get. For now, we get a nice look, start a fight here. They found success on some of those third parties and now have high reign of the fragment region. We see a very nice sight line for them as they may be looking to make their way out here.
Yeah, they've got the option to just Valk rotate out of this spot eventually later on. If this ring keeps pulling up to that north, they will have that exit strategy for themselves. They won't have to basically cross that span that's ahead of them to the north, that uphill traverse that can be extremely deadly. But we're just waiting as the round 3 ring does finish up closing. It's Ghost that's stuck in the Skyhook tunnel right now. On the other side of this one, you have to imagine it's Excedrin that might be over there, but it's actually multiple teams currently in the area, and they have to worry about their back. There could still be a team lurking on that Skyhook side, which is why 6 is turning around, making sure that the back is clear. Now, Pandas is, of course, on that Valkyrie, and so they have that option. They're not actually gate-kept here. They can just use that Valkyrie redeploy to get past this mountain.
Yep, and you've got what is 6 way back there still covering the back end of that zone. So a whole lot of safety that is kind of lesser stated there, giving us a little bit more of an eyesight. Now we pull out. Looks like the train tunnel, of course, no longer in play. The zone pulling almost directly towards some of those points we talked about very, very early on, being that revive as well as the building out there towards the west. Noble, they're one of the squads that haven't quite worked their way in just yet. They've got some range to their kit to potentially play this one out. But for now, doesn't seem like there's an easy way out.
Yeah, I imagine that on the other side of that fight, on the south side, is going to be Complexity. And they were set up to try and play that ridgeline, to try and play off the KP from the fights that are taking place down here and start a fight now. Trying to hold on to their building. It's Aves by himself as he gets swung on by Saucer. And now Renegades with the man advantage. They'll find another knock on to Crummy before Matt Pickett finally answers back. But Renegades still have the man advantage. They're going to go ahead and pop that revive, the time being backing off as Vaxlon needs to hit a bat for himself, as it looks like Saucerer will get cleaned up, get thirsted by Matt Pickett, and so the 1v2 opportunity is still here for him, but it's going to be that much more difficult. Pow and Vax were able to reset, and able to pick up that banner for themselves, but round 4 is closing and they need to start moving.
It's a bit of a shame knowing that they no longer have their teammate in play, because there's not going to be really a realm to get the full res often. We got a little bit of some flight going on here, the chase to ensue, and it's surprisingly the defensive bombardment that picks this one up from afar, not Renegades at all. It's TBA just sitting on the sidelines, and this is what you just brought up, the fact that they're taking a little bit too long to make their rotation. They themselves going to throw out their own bombardment to try to respawn here, maybe find their way in through the zone, but TBA, they're healthy. They're just going to wait this one out and now go for those knocks.
Yeah, they've got the man advantage, and they'll be able to secure the kills, and they have the afforded defensive option of the fence line there. But here's CLG finally making the push out. This is one of the first fights we saw at the beginning of the game. It was a fight over this building, but CLG still have not been able to work their way in. This costs are giving them so much trouble now, but Nano goes for another peek, a cheeky one there, is able to retake height once again. But it looks like it's a 3-team pileup, basically, on this building for now. Nano has the option to try and drop down once more, but I think just the threat of the third party, you cannot go for anything over aggressive here. We're still at 9 squads, so there's still plenty of placement points that you can pick up at this stage of the game. Nano gets hit up by a very brazen peak from the low ground.
They've got to be careful because those can come through at any moment here. The sad thing is there's not really a nice place for them to find a way out of this position. You look at some of those lines we got the opportunity to see there, and most of the rocks are already completely claimed here. For now, though, we take a look back towards Complexity, looking to shore up, maybe build upon the gap that they have from earlier today. Noble, they get the first knock, but they're looking a little bit too low, can't quite follow through to the degree they want, and as a result, they're going to get the revive up, and immediately they're going to fall as a result. Impulse down, Lucas the only one left standing instead of bombardment from Complexity to finish that one off.
And look at Team Vizio. Remember, they set up here so early on in basically what is the god spot. They're sitting on double red armors. They're still utilizing that black market boutique, and they're going to have basically all the utility to play off of. Here's CLG trying their best to survive, but Stomp will be able to clean them up. That's going to be TBA picking up those kills. Now, TBA. They're the only team that can really try and contest up against Team Vizio. You can see that Team Esports Arena have actually made their way over here. A lot of teams actually dogpiling on top of the platform now as the ring ends up closing. Team Vizio just needs to buy time. Pony has to be careful peeking out because they are absolutely surrounded right now.
You still have this high point to play, notably Splash. They surprisingly found their way out of the building, unlike CLG, maybe playing off of Blight there, but no. My apologies, playing off Blight there with that Valkyrie rotation. And as a result, this is one of the better spots to work with here in the end, especially if you don't have many people on your backside able to get a nice sight line on you. And as a result, we'll see how the zone finishes, but they could actually last up here for quite a long time.
Yeah, this spot ended up opening up for them because Noble dropped down onto Complexity. So Splash were able to use that Valkyrie deploy, basically reversing this position. And like you said, they're in one of the best spots. They just need to keep an eye on the air, make sure they don't get dropped on. While it looks vulnerable, it's really safe. Vizio making an aggressive push out, getting a knock onto Duplex. That's going to be Esports Arena missing out on one as the defensive bombardment goes down. Phony is just eating the gas pressure as well, but they'll be able to just pick up that one kill and back away. They've even got the extra armor swaps for themselves here just to play it extra safe.
Already back into the cart here, another defensible spot for themselves. Maybe not as good as the high ground, but something that will keep them alive for a long time here. Albeit, they still have to defend against their backside. Doesn't look like they got a full clear there, and now they're trying to aggress this one forward, but they've got to be careful. Off there towards the south, you've got a full three-man squad. I believe maybe it's TBA just looking to come in at a moment's notice.
Defensive bombardment going down. The mobile respawn beacon was used by Team Esports Arena, but Vizio were not able to punish quite yet. The bubble has been used by Phony here, and it looks like Esports Arena might have actually been able to recover and get that res back in. We'll find out in just a moment. Now Vizio are beset on all sides. Another squad showing up to their south right now, and this is the final ring. It's the slow ring closing as Vizio lose out on Phony. Scissors needs to back off, and unfortunately, there's no more armor swaps. They get one more armor swap off of that Black Market Boutique. It's TBA controlling the western side right now, creeping up. Sung already has the barrels, and the barrel resets set down for them as Fury somehow picks up some more kills up against Team Liquid here, but it might just be TBA to clean this one all up.
Splash
drops. The healthiest teams, and Splash now having to drop down. Looks like the Nox gas grenade was committed into this fight as well as Dracos will fall. It was a full three-man beneath him, and now Splash are just down to Blight. Picks up one more kill, gets the armor swap, and now he's still alive. It's 3 teams remaining as Blight is going to try and rat this one out, but TBA had full control over the south side. They'll take game number 5, and hey, take a look at what happens when you survive your 50-50. You're able to win out the game. TBA come out on top here in game number 5.
I gotta hand it to him. This is the best performance I've seen out of this squad tonight, and you said it yourself, finally able to last. And their control over the southern region was something remarkable because we saw several teams try to mimic that, notably CLG themselves trying to find their way out from above the building, unable to do so. So the timing there, absolutely crucial for them. And the fact that they were able to defend against not just Vizio in the cart, but also Splash from above, who still had some level of verticality to work with, is something awesome.
That's 5 games basically in the books, leaving us with one final game for the evening. We're going to take a break, and when we get back, it'll be the conclusion of Series E Pro Night right after this.
It's fruit, refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0 calorie treat. They're all our top fresh flavored Splash.
It's fruit freshen.
Excedrin.
I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
Versus coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true style trademark is at the edge of your dreams. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Get the balls in the breaks. I'm talking one chance that I was so close for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go.
Game 5 there, all done and dusted, and now just one more remains before we crown our victor for Series E Pro Night in week number 3. TBA dropping a little tactical strike there with the grenades on CLG and then tactically secure themselves a victory in game number 5. A squad coming off of a really good second place performance last night and continuing to build off of that, and this should hopefully jump them into the conversation to try and catch up to complexity on the leaderboard, maybe jump into a top 2 placing and grab some cash here tonight. Let's check out our 5th player of the game here for our competition tonight. This time it's going to go to our old friend Stomps, one of the top fraggers from Season 2 of Series E, making a return here tonight with TBA. 6 kills and 4 assists on the Valkyrie with over 1,800 damage in that game. Stomps, an incredibly talented player and a very, very dangerous fragger in any of these lobbies. So definitely a name to keep your eye on as TBA grab that big victory, and Stomps playing a huge part in that. Well played from the squad. We'll have to see if they can make some more noise in game number 6, though, as we only have one more remaining before we decide our winners. We are going to go to a quick break. When we come back, though, we'll have the final game of the night. Zephyr and Jamerson will get you ready for that on the other side.
Versus coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true style trademark is at the edge of your dreams. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Get the balls in the breaks. I'm talking one chance that I was so close for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. We have one game left to go to cap off the night. But before we head into the final game of the evening, let's go ahead and check in with the Mobile One leaderboard to see who stands up top. We had Team Liquid taking the win in a game. Oh, excuse me, not Team Liquid. Oh my goodness, it's been a long day. But yeah, it's Complexity still up top. That's the important part. They're in first place right now with 58 points. But Team Start a Fight and C9 still within reaching distance of them, along with Team Vizio and Renegades.
Right, and to follow up there very quickly, TBA are winners of that last game. They shoot up from 16th all the way to 6th. Now, they need an absolute massive showing here coming into our final game of the night if they kind of want to usurp the legends that have been sitting at the top of this board, but it isn't completely out there yet. Like you said, though, some great names that have been performing all night long, notably both Start a Fight and Team Vizio from our open. transferring the performance from last night here as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not out of reach, right? I mean, Complexity had a 33-point game number 2, so it's definitely possible, but those are much rarer than we know of. So let's go ahead and check in with the Mobile One high performance moment of game number 5. And it's going to be the final moments of the last game here. It's Nestle Splash. Fortunately, Dracos went down a little bit too early. There was a full 3-man ready for him down there, and Splash only pick up that 1 extra kill point before going out.
Right, and then you have Vizio staying alive for quite some time here, but most notably, the fact that TBA was able to defend against all that is the reason why that sits as our high-performance mode. We talk about the fact that Splash had all this verticality to work with. Maybe if they stuck around just a little bit longer, they might have been able to assume some more damage to expend there onto TBA. Instead, they go for the drop. You've got the collapse from Vizio, and TBA still come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking like a great game for Vizio as well when they were holding out inside that truck, but it looked like there was a massive pileup. We had Esports Arena, Team Liquid, so many teams coming out from the north side, and Vizio just never had that moment to try and peek out and full clear out. There was just way too dangerous, but you can see how good they are at making the macro calls. But TBA really baring their teeth in this game number 5 here to put people at notice. And like we said, it's not out of reach. They are down by about 20 odd points from first place. But, if they have one more good performance and the other top teams end up not being able to put on points, then there's a world where they can take that first place away. But let's go ahead and head into game number 6, our final game of Pro Night here at Series E. For our first week of Pro Night, or our first week of Series E in 2022. And it's been a great affair. Let's go ahead and join on board with TBA, though, who we know they've been getting into those 50-50s up against Team Intel. And this time around, it looks like they're going to try and control the outside. I don't know if Team Intel are still contesting them right now, especially with one player playing so far out like that.
We'll see what they do. I know that we saw in Game 5, it took quite some time for that fight to finally make its way forward, but more notably, we do have another Southern Zone. Thankfully, not Thermal Station, so G2, you're going to be forced to rotate, but more towards Tree and Lava Siphon. There's a lot to talk about with that zone, especially given how Tree and Siphon love to play into one another. But for now, we look back towards our winners to see, hopefully, if they can win this 50-50. They're already making the moves.
Yeah, they've got to be careful. Team Intel are sticking together as a full squad, and Stomps just got way too aggressive. You can see the double peek coming out from Mooney and Petty Boss, absolutely punishing him now. With that bat off, they've got the 3v2. The only saving grace for TBA on the other side is that they've got the barrels down, and Tung is able to take out Petty Boss. But here comes Cody answering back. It's down to a 1v1 now. Cody doesn't have any armor, but he only needs that one shot to finish him off, and it's going to be Team Intel winning out the 50-50 in the final game, shutting the door on TBA's chances of getting a top 2 finish.
Well, at least we know that one is set in stone here. And Intel definitely feel good. Maybe they can use that momentum to find some reign of control back over this game. For now, though, we look towards Vizio, currently in the top 4, one of the best performing teams coming out from Open other than start a fight here. And they're looking to continue it, right? They're already on the way towards the second zone here in round 1. I'm very interested to see where they kind of set themselves up for. I wouldn't like to see Tree, maybe this cart up here towards the north, but looking like they're getting some resistance as they make their way there.
Yeah, there's a team right on top of them, actually. So it wasn't some sort of long-range 3-2-1. It was Team Exit who they actually shadow in terms of the rotation timing now. As Exit were trying to set up a little bit earlier, but I think they might have just been caught out on the rotate themselves. So now Team Exit and Team Vizio, they don't have to full commit onto this fight, but it looks like Exit want to try and get aggressive here. They want to try and push them back, but understanding that there is a huge armor discrepancy between them, Exit still sitting on 2 white armors, and they're just going to back up and give up space themselves and continue on the rotate.
They need some timing maybe to find their way back into that sort of thing. Right now, it's definitely too risky, especially when there's so much space to work with for this late game. You can see off in the distance, you've got the choke right east of Tree. They're already being contested, so that should give them a little bit of a motivation, some impetus to find their way in. Vizio, they pull back, not even fully healed, some of them. They're going to be finding their way into the building. And Intel, they're already taking their next fight here against C9, and it doesn't end well.
Yeah, you always have to be worried about this rotation coming out from Cloud9. You cannot hover around Overlook too long when you know that they're coming down from Climatizer. So Cloud9 are able to actually punish the only team in the region, and it looks like that's the reason why there's a beacon down here. And so Zach Mazer will be able to pick that up for his squad. Team Nerf, though, not too far off. I mean, this is where they drop over at Lava Siphon. They've got a team pulled up underneath them for now. Turns does have someone lurking on the left-hand side, but he doesn't overextend, he doesn't push out, and he doesn't get punished for it. So for the time being, Nerf are just going to coexist here, and you know, they can buy their time. Again, this is one of those zones where there's an opportunity it goes to Lava Siphon, there's an opportunity where it goes to Tree, so you just try and pick the highest probability ring, as Turns is still looking. He's getting greedy now for this red Evo shield.
He's going to find the initial shot there with the wingman. We'll see if they follow up. You've got the rest of his squad already looking to make those angles a profitable trade here. Turns in with the Volt and continues to assume some good cracks on the shielding. And actually, with the dome down, this might give them a realm to pressure.
The worrying thing here for Nerf right now is just that their economy doesn't look that strong. You saw Turns, he had a clip and a half essentially left in that Volt, and so he doesn't have a big secondary to play off of. And so they kind of do need this fight, and so they will get aggressive. Turns is the first one to fall. Dank picks that one up, but a lot of damage was done. Unfortunately, for Team Nerf, Lazarus are able to just back off. They reset here, utilizing that knocks, the caustic barrels, and they get another knock. Messiah going down. Force will be able to trade back, at the very least, taking out Vize, but Lazarus still have the number advantage. They've got the barrels going. They'll be able to get the res onto Vize.
Oh. And it looks like this isn't just it. You've got a third squad coming in here. So neither team, Lazarus or Nerf, are safe as of yet here. We talk about a lot of the stacking you get in this region especially. And this is what we're starting to see. So what was in complete control for Nerf is no longer so. And I think it's more than just 3. We might have 4. I believe that's another squad just across the way there from Lazarus.
Yeah, launch site, a lot of teams do like to just hole up there and just wait it out. If they see that all the positions in Lava Siphon are basically taken up. But Lazarus are able to recover now, and they want to try and poke out again, but they have to be careful. They know that they've got the 2-man above them, but can they punish it? Looks like it's just going to be a lot of jogging for position. They know that the third parties can come in at any moment, so getting overtly aggressive could be a huge detriment to yourself. But Dank, almost gets cracked, is able to back off just in time, and I think Lazarus have had enough of this, essentially, and so it's just all defensive posturing for them. Team Noble, though, over here at Tree, find themselves in a full fight. Defensive bombardment has been used as Lucas just holding the stairwell as Impulse is able to heal up, and for now it does seem like it's going to be a full 3-man on the other side of this fight who are able to back out and basically hold the hill that has that cart just above them.
And I like that cart's position. These ones here explicitly that Noble is currently holding is a major setup, kind of betting that you'll see this one finish out in Tree here. So right now, you saw Lucas there constantly on the control with that triple take and the Peacekeeper, just waiting to see if anyone was going to try to impede the upper level of this building. Because especially it goes later, you do see a lot of squads try to kind of stack these ones out if the zone closes as tightly as it does. Granted, like I just said, I love that cart position. It's far better, so there's no reason why we should have seen that rotation come through, even though the defensive bombardment was thrown down here. Noble, for now, they're going to be safe. We'll have to see how the zone plays and whether it's in their favor or out towards Lava. Calamity, though, they may be looking for a trade, or my apology, Complexity.
They drop right into Noble's position here. Reptar's already been cracked, but he's throwing down the barrels, so instant space bought for Complexity, and they just get this first floor for free. So Noble are forced basically into the other half of this building. We see people existing here all the time, but Noble end up running into exit on the other side of this building, and Shiny only picks up the 1 kill there for his squad, but they at least now get this building to themselves.
Wait, but Xset is falling in response due to their aggressive movement. They're going to go down, so well, maybe not Complexity coming up big. It's Splash on the return. I don't know if they had control over this building or they took it the minute they saw Xset leave. Either way, they pick up 3 for themselves and continue to defend the other side here.
Well, the big thing is they've also got these armor swaps, all of this utility to play off of now. With how early it is, you have to imagine there's plenty of nades, plenty of heals still left on this body. So for basically what you're playing for, then the long game here, Splash are now set up for the late game. They don't have to take any aggressive pushes. They don't have to really do anything. They just need to exist. They should be able to secure a top finish for themselves. So Splash finding themselves in a really good spot early on here, picked up some early kill points, and now it's just about finishing off strong.
Right. We do get a notion of where this circle will be finishing in, and it is the tree area. So all those squads who have been competing for those high priority real estates, notably both Splash and Complexity, and of course Renegades, the squad who typically drops there, most notably, all in great position. You got Vizio there as well. For now, though, we're going to return back towards our Lava Siphon area where Nerf are still held up. They've made their way to the 3rd level, but wow! Turns just barely manages to get out that Nox gas grenade before he goes down, and Lazarus finally making their way up here to the 2nd level are going to clean up the rest of this Nerf squad.
And the timing on this fight was just so good because they got 30 seconds to heal up and then consider their options and how they move in. The zone is pulling away from them now. And so they do it at a great time where they're not panicked. They're not forcing any kind of rotates. They have their options. But CLG might throw a wrench in the works here as they end up showing up for this one now. There's a huge armor discrepancy. The blues versus the purples on the other side. But Nano is keeping them kind of pinned in by himself right now. So that opens up the opportunity for Mamba to find this angle, get the knock onto Dank, and now CLG, they've got the 3v2 as Mamba pulls the aggression back towards him. They lose out on Batro throughout all of that, but they're able to turn around and clean up the fight. And so CLG, despite having the huge armor discrepancy, it was triple purples versus triple blues, get a really clean fight there.
And it was absolutely fantastic, especially since we saw how long Lazarus were able to hold off on that position, unable to do so against CLG, just bringing a separate level of skill to work with here. We pull out, though, towards the far western end where we see teams like G2 usually drop. They themselves are having some trouble working their way into the choke here, pressured out by a bit of damage. That defensive bombardment can give them some time to kind of heal back up and maybe enact some vengeance, but Gent, you're just getting healthy. Calm down, Designful. You guys are looking low.
The surprising thing for G2 here is that they dropped Thermal. They should have had priority in this position. Well, we saw other teams like Liquid playing on the southern choke towards Tree, and now this northwest choke is currently being gatecapped as G2 Designful was considering going in for that phase breach, but there we go. He'll go ahead and use that now. So G2 have closed the distance up on this squad, built up a nice angle for themselves, and multiple angles to play off of now, but Designful is forced to heal up once again. But the thing is, it's Team Liquid on the other side of this one. They've been kind of picked apart. They've been kind of stretched a little bit thin. A Nox gas grenade coming out from Flanker here just to control that. But again, he's not getting that much value off of it. That's one angle that's cut off throughout all of this. But now here they go. They're going to charge forward with the barrels. They're leapfrogging forward. But G2 are expertly just kiting back and not allowing them to utilize these caustic barrels to their advantage. So Team Liquid are just going to go ahead and give up this spot. And now they're going to have to worry about that constant threat of G2 to their back.
Right. And there is the opportunity for them to potentially drop down, but just as I say that, we get another idea of where a squad is located, and it's right underneath within this tunnel. Usually this placement right here is something very good for the late game, but as you have brought up, they have to defend against their backside. G2 could pull the trigger at any moment. And while they used a lot of resources to push their way into that position, it's still something you have to worry about. Back towards Lava Siphon, we haven't quite seen the zone close just yet, so it's still within play. Ghost, a team we haven't had the opportunity to discuss much at all tonight, now completely controlling the upper side of it. And whoa, Liquid, big rotation, and It's a big separation. Nocturnal goes up with the Valk ult, Fun's on the run himself. Valk, she falls in the midst of all of this on the way up, and now Fun FPS, the last member left alive, not for long.
Yeah, it looks like G2 finally pulled the trigger and ended up pushing them earlier on. And Team Liquid decided to drop down, but you saw how much presence there were. There's a team inside the tunnel, there's a team playing inside the cart as well. And now G2 have full control over this height right now. You can see the pings going down, but they're not going to drop down quite yet. They can still bide their time. It's Team Vizio. They're playing inside this cart that we saw. Noble were keeping an eye on them earlier. But you can see why you always have to worry about this card team, especially if it's a team like Vizio, who have that that black market boutique. They've got Fury with the Kraber in his hands. This is a lot of times the win condition for Team Vizio. So having this so early on and having so much space here, we'll see. Can Vizio secure a dub here? Maybe get the win here in game number 6.
As we take a look, though, it looks like that's going to be it for CLG. A bit of a mix there. Starting a fight, picking up the last remaining members there, wherever they may have been. C9 themselves, it looks like they fell. They were able to get the my apologies. They did not fall. They took a double kill here against G2. They're rotating super far back here. So actually another team right behind it. We thought G2 was safe, but not quite.
The scans out from Naughty and picks up the 4, so that should be the solo on G2. I imagine that's Designful, and it is. There's the knock on to Designful here as Cloud9 feeling a lot more confident now. They're still up there. What were they, in second, third place heading into this final game?
Yeah, third.
So if they can secure the W here, this could be the win. We'll find out in just a moment. Complexity is still alive, I believe, over by the tree side now. So Cloud9 still have to cut into that lead that Complexity have currently. So they need these kill points. You can see the desperation, and they will be able to finish off Resulta. That's going to be another 2 kill points coming out for Cloud9. That should be 5 overall. Remember, they picked up the +3 up against TBA over by Overlook earlier on in this game, and now they've set themselves up in a great spot. They've got this height to play with, but we've been seeing team after team basically going down in this cursed position.
Yeah, well, no surprise there. If you don't clean up your backside, you're inevitably going to be found out here. Notably, though, they are sitting 13 points away, so we already noticed 6 kills in their pocket. That's about halfway there. The problem, Complexity is still alive. We get a nice view of them holding off on one of those buildings. Vizio just above them in the cart. Splash aside. Esports Arena in their own cart there and starting a fight, finding their own rotation towards the center of tree, and Renegades holding off on their very famous building they tend to play within here. I'm going to bring something up, though, that I think is crucial depending on how this zone finishes. Some of these buildings can become a death trap for these squads. They're great right now when you're holding out position in tree. But if the zone does not pull directly into one of them and it starts to choke off a lot of the control exits or entrances that are available, you have no options. And as a result, what becomes an amazing spot is your death sentence, right? You look at spots, though, like Vizio, who have a lot more access, more control to be able to cover both Lava Siphon as well as the buildings that cover tree. And that's the god spot I look at when we start talking about runs 4 and 5.
Yeah, round 4 closing right and now as Cloud9 are taking to the skies. That's 2 teams actually using that Valkyrie redeploy, and Cloud9 are taking their lucky stars that they're not the ones that's receiving the major focus. Vizio, though, have eyes on them right now. They're trying to keep them at bay, but looks like Cloud9 are just going to go ahead and drop right below Vizio. The bubble should be coming out from Zach Mazer very shortly, but it looks like Vizio don't commit any nades onto them. Surprisingly enough, throughout all of this, though, Excedrin pick up a few kills throughout all of that. Razor going down. We're now down to 10 squads, 28 players remaining. Here come the nades finally out from Vizio. If they know that Cloud9's on the other side of this one, that could be huge. You got to be careful. Scissors playing up top. You can see one player from Cloud9 trying to peek up as the scan comes out. They know a Bloodhound's on the other side of this one, and Fury has to be careful playing this. They've given up height, and they've given up some of the priority in this fight now. Team Vizio have to be careful. It's Cloud9 on the other side of this one. We know how strong their team fight is, but Cloud9 are giving them their due respect. They know that there is a Kraber on the other side of this fight, and all it takes is one shot or maybe one big nade, and they've given them the runaround here as Vizio have committed onto the low, and now this is the death trap. Zach Mazer with the devotion gets the kill onto Scissors and onto Pony, and now this could be the big win for Cloud9. They need to recover, and it looks like they will be able to get the res onto their third player there, along with the scan. You can see Complexity. We're considering coming in for the third party, but we're not able to find the timing on it.
It's a bit of a shame, though. Either way, Cloud9, while I do find successful kills, now booting them up to 9 points here, still have to muster against both Complexity and Start a Fight. Both of those squads are still ahead of them in terms of the placement, and they both exist coming into this 6th game. And while they do have the 9 points of KP to work with, it's something to question as this game begins to tighten up in its final moments. For now, we look towards the center tree. This is where we saw Start a Fight just a moment ago, and they're being pressured by both Esports Arena and Ghost, as now Renegades finally out of their building, and they've got a nice double angle here from a combination of Complexity as well.
Yeah, and they forced out the bubble on Cloud9 as Complexity are starting to back away. Cloud9 have dropped down. They're basically on top of Complexity here, and this could be the game, the tournament-deciding fight that's taking place now down on the south. But here it is, Splash trying to fight off over on the tree side, over on the triangle side, as it looks like Complexity have gotten 2 knocks on the Cloud9. That's Cloud9 out, and I think Complexity might have just secured their dub for the evening, as Splash now start to turn their eyes toward the Complexity side as Renegades push up as well. Monsoon will fall to 2 members of Renegades now, and Complexity are taken out. But I think they might have done it. I think they've done enough to secure the dub tonight. We'll find out.
Start a Fight is still alive. Remember, they're in 2nd place. They're only 11 points here behind, and we do say Abe's fall there from Madness, quite a distance away. We'll see if they're able to get the respawns, but the lineup from Vaxlon onto Ghost to secure this one out. That's it for Start a Fight. Those are our top 3 squads, no longer in the realm of control. We look towards Renegades now, currently in 5th overall. This could be potentially their win to usurp everything here, and come on, it's their zone to play. It's Tree. They land here. They know this one.
It's the final 3v3, but Renegades have the positional advantage. They've got the high ground, and the other squad just cornered up right now. 3 shots left in this Kraber. Vaxlon only really needs the 1 to secure the dub for his squad. Early bubble out now as the final ring starts closing in, and Renegades are trying to find these angles for themselves. You can see Vaxlon off to the side, lines it up and hits the 123. He almost got that crack, but he does not drop down quite yet. Still remaining patient until he drops down, misses that next shot, but the PK connect. Great will fall, and now Renegades just need to clean this up. It's only 1 member remaining. Blight in a 1v3 here for Nestle Splash, but Renegades, they've got the armor swaps as well. They are playing this one immaculately to finish off the night with the dub. Team Renegades now chasing down their final prey. A big 72 with 1 last shot from that PK to secure themselves the dub here in game number 6.
Now, this is going to be a really tight one here. They're going to assume those 12 points there from the win. Remember, I said they're sitting at 43. In comparison, Complexity was all the way up at 58. So you need a whole lot. And remember, Complexity, Start a Fight, C9, they were there until the very end. So I don't know if this was enough to push them into a spot where they're going to win it all tonight, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, so was 2 wins enough for Team Renegades? They started off the night with the win, and they ended the night with the win as well. We're going to find out, though, as we take one last break. When we get back, we'll announce the winners of Series E Pro Night right after this.
We're going to do it in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everybody. 6 games in the books, and Renegades grab another victory there, bookending the night. We got to get a good look there at Vaxon just doing some work. Great shots with the Kraber and as well as with the PK to close things out as Renegades grab another victory. The question is it enough to catch up to Complexity at the top of the leaderboard? We will find that out momentarily, but I think it's going to be pretty darn close in the end. Let's check out our final player of the game for tonight here on Series E, and it is going to go to the aforementioned Vaxon there. 5 kills and 2 assists and just short of 2,300 damage in that final game, doing great work for the side of Renegades, and a big reason why they do grab that second victory on the night. I think the only team to grab 2 victories tonight, and well deserved from Renegades. They looked really strong tonight. It's one of the better performances we have seen from them in a Series E Pro Night in a long time, and this roster looking rejuvenated and looking very strong right now, so we'll have to see if it was enough. But we are going to go back to Jamerson and Zephyr here momentarily. Before we do that, do want to remind you, again, we are open all across the country, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to come out and game, join these communities, maybe you want to come out for some Smash, Apex, whatever you like, we are the spot to go to. Use exclamation point locations in Twitch chat right now to find an esports arena near you and come and see us very soon. Now, we are going to go to that break. When we come back, though, we'll get a final look at that Mobile One leaderboard. Jamerson and Zephyr will give their final thoughts on the day, and I'll be back to close the show, so don't go anywhere. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Eat, Speak, Compete.
Eat, Speak, Compete.
Yes.
Name, incredible. Logo, even better.
I'm your host, as always, Yeso, joined by my co-host, Luke Shimoni. Brew.
There's a lot to unpack there. I don't even know where to start.
If one of the North American teams doesn't win, their 2021 season is done. I got my fingers crossed. I think you got this. Let's turn more towards the competitive side. They finished strong.
They were like 35-2.
They finished strong.
Really if the only intent is, hey, let's make this game as esports as possible, then sure, but that's never going to be what Nintendo does.
And I'm very curious to see what kind of their first take on what a Valorant World Championship should look like.
Dang. That's super fun sounding.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome.
That sounds super fun. I think that, like,
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. It's been an extremely close race all night long, and it all comes down to this. Let's check in with the Mobile One leaderboard to see who ended up winning tonight. Was anyone able to take away that first place position from Complexity, who had an outstanding game number 2? And oh no, Renegades just 2 points off from taking that first place position away from them. But Complexity, really off the momentum from game number 2, that 33-point game was enough for them to secure the bag tonight. So congratulations to Complexity. But damn, Renegades, that was a hard-fought second place.
So close there. I mean, only 2 kills that separates this one out. To follow those, some nice names to behold. Start a Fight, C9, Team Vizio. Those are the next 3 in our top 5. 2 of them coming from the Open yesterday. So gotta start paying a little bit more respect to those teams there.
Yeah, and so congratulations once again, Complexity and Renegades are first and second place. But let's check in with our Mobile One high performance moment, our final high performance moment of tonight. And it was just this: Renegades, you know, this is all they could do. Taking the dub wasn't enough, unfortunately. If they had gotten 2 more kills here, I don't know if they actually end up with a tiebreaker win because they had 2 wins or what, but damn, it was close. Renegades, though, end up cleaning this one out, and what a way to do it, too. Starting off the night with the win and then ending the night with the win.
And the nice thing is it's right in their area, so it definitely feels good that you can keep that level of control, because we've seen a lot of zones finish tonight in the favor of certain teams. It's nice that Renegades are actually able to extend that victory all the way out here, defending the place they call Tree.
You know, we also have to note that it really came down to a lot of Complexity's plays in this final game as well. The fact that they were able to survive as long as they did. If they had gone down basically 2 teams earlier, that would have been the difference maker as well. But they were able to survive long enough. They took out Cloud9 and all of that. So congratulations once again to Complexity for taking the win today, along with Renegades for taking second place. That's going to go ahead and do it for us. So we're going to send it back to JC to close out the night. So JC, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, gentlemen. Great to listen to you both all night tonight. A lot of fun action, and you guys were a pleasure to listen to. Complexity take the victory tonight. A narrow margin, but they are able to do it 2 points ahead of Renegades, despite those 2 victories for the squad. So Complexity just consistent all throughout tonight, and they do come out on top. So congratulations to them. They were very, very fun to watch all throughout the night. A very tightly contested night of games, ladies and gents. 6 in the books. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Do want to remind you of a couple things. We still have Series Z going on throughout the rest of the week. We'll have Guilty Gear Strive here tomorrow night. That kicks off at 4 p.m. Pacific time. I'll be here to bring you all of the action along with some incredible casting talent. And then we'll have Series Recap this Friday. Same time, 4 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be going through all of the action from Apex and Guilty Gear this week and getting you guys ready for next week's fun. So don't miss out on either of those shows. I'm certainly looking forward to them myself. That's going to do it for us tonight, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. From myself, the entire live broadcast crew, and everybody here at Esports Arena, thank you for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.